There is nothing better than a good rivalry, and we've got one of the best in the entire country. Every time the Cougs and the Huskies get together, which they are doing this afternoon in Huskies Stadium. Hello again, everybody. For the 86th time, it's the Cougs and the Huskies going head-to-head. I'm Don Poyer, along with Clete Casper with the Cougs, Chuck Nelson, Coach Don James with the Huskies, of course, and this is Prime Sports Northwest version of APEC, keeping in the theme throughout the weekend. Since President Clinton, I know you're watching. Anyway, as far as these quarterbacks, this is a rarity for us, Clete. Neither team really a big name at the quarterback position.
We're used to a lot of Bledsoes and Brunells, and all of a sudden we've got some guys who are fresh off the roster here. Chad DeGrenier for the Cougars just came off the scout team, so it's going to be interesting to see how he plays today. He's one of the featured players, along with Darren Pointer, who is a senior, playing his first home game, playing for his folks in Tacoma. But Chad DeGrenier, I talked to him earlier this week, and my main advice to him was don't force the football. If you've got to run the ball, which he does real well, go ahead and do that, because the Huskies love to force you into mistakes, and he's got the ability to run. His toe looks like he's going to be okay, a little tender, but he'll be fine. Darren Pointer is a guy that just has a knack to take the simple and make it look spectacular. He's the guy the Cougars got to get the football to. I'd like to see the ball in his hands 10 times today and let him run with it after he catches the football. Important today for the Cougs to play well on defense. The Cougars second in the nation in versus the run, and these are two of the guys that are the reasons. Dwayne Patterson had an all Pac-10 week against UCLA, and then we've got Anthony McClanahan. Dwayne Patterson also the leader in sacks in the Pac-10 with 17, and he needs to put pressure on Bjornsson and also keep Napoleon Kaufman between the tackles. Funnel him to this guy, Anthony McClanahan, who can put the hit on you. Anthony McClanahan, a Football News second-team All-American, and he's a guy that has been the real focal point all year long for this Cougar defense.
They are two outstanding football
Very
players,
good
no
football
question.
team.
Whether you're wearing purple and gold or whatever, they're outstanding. And as usual, it is Apple Cup week, and of course the Salvos were fired very early in the week, Chuck Nelson.
Well, in fact, the Cougars had a bye week. They've had 2 weeks to talk instead of just the usual one, but certainly the most vocal of the Cougars has been defensive lineman Chad Eaton. He threw the gauntlet down to the Husky big boys and challenged those offensive linemen, saying that offensive line for Washington, he's the weakest link on that Husky team, and 2 of the fifth-year seniors are going to have to pick up that gauntlet and play very well here today. Pete Pearson and Tom Gallagher, the 2 tackles. Coach?
Well, they will be playing against 2 fine defensive linemen in Hall and Patterson, and but if the Huskies expect to want to win, they're going to have to get execution out of these 2 tackles.
Well, certainly good execution there. You saw Tom Gallagher blocking down and freeing Napoleon Kaufman against UCLA. If you're going to get the ball off your own goal line, those up front guys have got to do the job well here. Number 71, Pete Pearson at the left tackle here, does a good job of sealing off the inside. Napoleon Kaufman is not the #1 rusher in the conference strictly on his own. He's getting a lot of help as well. The Huskies want to win today. They're going to have to run the ball. Coach, you mentioned some very good defensive linemen for Washington State, but some veteran players for Washington up front.
Yeah, there's a lot of good experience. They've got Garcia back, and so I think the offensive line, with the Chad Eaton comments earlier in the week, they're anxious to get this game on.
On the defensive side of the ball for Washington, the defensive linemen are going to have to play well today as well, and a couple that have played well all year, Jamal Fontaine and DeMarco Farr. Again, a couple of seniors getting a chance to play in their final Apple Cup. They've made a lot of plays together right here. DeMarco Farr gets the play started, and Jamal Fontaine helps to finish it off. Good leadership up front from these 2 guys. Jamal Fontaine has been an outstanding pass rusher all year. Here you see the help he gets from DeMarco Farr, forcing one into the other, and Jamal Fontaine finally gets the ball out versus Danny O'Neill and Oregon. But defensive pressure against a young quarterback and Chad DeGrenier will be important for the Huskies on defense.
No question. If they can get them into second and long, third and long, and with these 2 redshirt seniors, they've gotten better each year. About 32 tackles for losses, as you mentioned, about 10 sacks between them, and they could make it a little bit tougher for the Cougars to get the ball to those outstanding receivers.
A couple of seniors on offense, a couple of seniors on defense have had a lot of success here in Washington. Their final game as Huskies, a great Apple Cup Saturday to come.
And to make the game even more interesting, the last 11 Apple Cups, 6 and 5. Cougars winning 5, and the Huskies winning 6. So the series has tightened up a little bit the last few years, and it will continue in just a moment as we bring you the kickoff and the starting lineups right after this. might get lucky today. The weather fairly kind so far as Washington State has come in to take on the Washington Huskies in the '93 Apple Cup. Don Poyer, Cleet Casper, Don James, Chuck Nelson. Broadcast by committee today, by golly, and well represented.
Sounds like the beginning to 60 minutes.
That's right. Tick, tick, tick. Let's take a look at the series overall. Many of you, I'm sure, have it memorized. The 86th meeting, Huskies with the lead overall. And here in Husky Stadium, as you can understand, or as you can see, and the information since back in 1962 and the Apple Cup officially all began. And the Cougs, you might remember when they won their second straight, it was here in Seattle as Mike Price, now 1-3 against the Huskies, is in his 5th year. And Jim Lambright in his first Apple Cup as a head coach and still trying to get that 7th win, which would make him the winningest Husky head coach in his first year.
Always exciting Apple Cup Saturday. Huskies with a chance to put a bit of a glimmer on a disappointing season. The Cougars with a chance to go 6-5, a winning season. Mike Price would like to win a road game in November. A good place to start right here in Husky Stadium.
Interesting to see if they will kick off or script kick.
Coin toss won by the Cougars, and they chose to defer. Huskies will receive. They're going to kick it. Bino Bryant from the 3. Bino to the 30-yard line. Good return by the senior. Here are the Huskies now. On offense, it'll be Eric Bjornsson again starting. Completing 45% of his passes, 1 touchdown, the 4 interceptions. Yep, they've hurt. And the people behind him, Napoleon Kaufman, Jones, a captain in his last game as a Husky. Likewise for Joe Kralik. Janowski, who's been playing very well the last 2-3 games. And Mark Bruner at tight end. The big guys up front, led by Jim Novell, the senior in his last game for the Washington Huskies. 1st and 10. Ball officially on the 31-yard line. And Bjornsson's going deep right off the bat. It's got a man. And he is overthrown. Janowski, the intended receiver. And he was John Rushing defending the free safety for Washington State. Defensively for the Cougs coming over from Pullman. Chad Eaton, who fired the salvos early, is one of the front 4. A very, very talented front 4 for Washington State. Patterson, outstanding. Likewise, the linebackers, especially McClanahan, over 100 tackles this year. Torrey Hunter leads the group. All juniors. They're all coming back, or rather underclassmen. On 2nd down and 10, Jones carries for maybe 3 yards up near the 34-yard line. Down inside, TJ Folkers, the senior, getting the outside linebacker starting spot on the bottom of the pile.
The Huskies right away on 1st down try to get a big play to Dave Janowski, who has made some big plays deep in the last couple of weeks. A little miscommunication on that Cougar defense, Rushing and Greg Burns, but ball overthrown. 2nd down, a good gain, but still 3rd and long for Washington.
It is 3rd and 7 to be exact. Wide receivers, 2 to the right, 1 in the slot and 1 to the left side as Bjornsson goes upstairs. Intended receiver, Joe Kralik. And the Huskies will have to punt. And Joe getting out of that sidelines with his life after running into the Cougar back into the bench.
I believe Joe was open. I think he had Joe. He just didn't get it to football. Interesting first series. Again, let the Cougars know with all that man coverage, we will go deep on you, and then off tackle with Matt Jones.
From the Cougar standpoint on defense, that's exactly what they'd like the Huskies to resort to, is Bjornsson throwing the ball as opposed to giving the ball to Napoleon. Interesting thing on that last play that the running back, Bino Bryant, was split out as a wide receiver.
And you'll see it much of the day as John Wardell punts. Spiral to the right side. Jay Dumas giving chase. Gets it on his own 20. Gets past the first wave and up to the 29-yard line where number 25, Jared Maines, makes the stop. And the Cougars on offense. Chad DeGrenier at quarterback starting at 49% throwing so far. His first Apple Cup. 1 TD, 1 interception. And the folks starting, Delton Johnson starting in the backfield ahead of the banged-up Kevin Hicks as far as a running back spot. Brett Carroll, outstanding tight end, and the big guys up front. Josh Dunning, one of the captains in his last game for the Cougars. 1st and 10, ball on the 29-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, and Pointer comes in motion. They keep it on the ground. Johnson, not much there as they try to establish the running game just like the Huskies.
A lot of shifting and a lot of motion. Again, when you shift, the defense has got to change up their signals.
Jamal Fontaine, DeMarco Farr in their final game here in Seattle. As a college athlete anyway, they'll take a shot at certainly DeMarco Farr will in the NFL. Springstead and Encaliaga playing in his first Apple Cup with Chambers on the outside. Actually, I think Andy Mason was out there, and Hairston, Reese Jones, and Lyons all returning, all underclassmen. 2nd down and 9. Pointer comes to the near side with 2 to the right. DeGrenier looking to throw. Fontaine gives chase likewise. Steve Springstead, they get him for a loss.
Cleat mentioned that the Cougars on defense want to see Washington throw the ball. Washington on defense wants to put pressure on Chad DeGrenier. We talked in the open about DeGrenier's ability to run with the ball. Washington would love to see Chad DeGrenier run with the ball.
Well, it looked like actually he had a slot and he just picked the wrong way to run, whether it's left and right, but a good job, like we said, not trying to force the ball somewhere and having the ball picked off in your own side. Nice job by Springstead coming out of pass coverage and forcing him into running out of bounds and a big loss. So 3rd and long for the Cougars.
3rd and 19. 3 receivers to the right side. Out comes Johnson. Time to throw. Looking for Carolyn. Got him. David Kilpatrick there to stop him at the 23. A gain of about maybe 5 or 6. It'll be 4th down and time to punt for Mr. Johnston.
And a real cheap shot there by one of the Cougar linemen on Jamal Fontaine, and that kind of sets a tempo. You stand around the piles, you better have your head on a swivel.
Looked like a clean shot to me, John.
There's Steve Johnston, averaging almost 40 yards per punt.
John Riddell had a 4.7 hang time on his first punt, and that's exactly what Steve would like.
The Cougars, number 9 in net punting. Not all that much distance. This time a low spiral, a chance for Bino to do something with it. Can't stay in bounds.
If you're going to hit it low, you better hit it on the boundary. Bino Bryant trying to make a big play. Had room to run if he can stay off the white paint and stay on the green paint.
Hard to believe. Bino Bryant, number 9 in the conference in punt returning.
I would have never guessed that.
Yep.
With his skill back there, and punters have done a good job of keeping it away from him. Hang time, coverage people have done a good job.
Johnston punting for Mike Price, a 44-yarder. So the Huskies in their 2nd possession on the 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Hoffman, first carry, flagged down as he tries to go outside and gets hammered by Torrey Hunter, number 24.
I think we've got a free 5 yards. It looked like one of the Cougar defensive linemen did not get back.
Chad Eaton's probably still talking down there and couldn't hear the snap count over his banter. That's an interesting little matchup to watch Chad Eaton because of his comments during the week. And I was talking to Coach Patterson, the defensive tackle coach, and he said, the thing, that little talking episode will last for about 3 plays, and then it'll be all forgotten, and these guys get back to the physical part. But so far, Chad's held his own in the middle.
One of the toughest competitors on the offensive line is Frank Garcia. It's a guy you'd like to have on defense.
Defense, 5 yards, repeat 1st down.
Jim Fogeltant's the referee today. Washington State, I believe, is number 10 in penalties in the conference.
Yes.
They suffer a lot of yardage.
That's not good when you're number 10.
No,
that's not on the bad side.
Again, one of those little things that drive coaches nuts.
1st and 5 now for Jim Lambright's Huskies. Kaufman, 2nd carry, trying to follow Frank Garcia, and pops into the secondary for a 1st down. What a great job of following your blocker. I think Napoleon is pumped, to say the least.
If they called Napoleon for celebrating again, officials, again, we got on him last week, and I want to get on him again this week. That's incredible.
If that wasn't sincere celebration, I don't know what is.
Especially he's over in the direction of his own sideline. Unsportsmanlike conduct is the call. It's not as if he was going over to the Cougar sideline or anything like that. He's
That's a celebration.
facing his teammates, celebrating a great play.
That's emotion.
Well, he's an athlete that's pumped up in a big game, and there's a limit. I don't like to see the dancing, and I'd be the first to penalize that.
Listen to the crowd reaction on this one.
Non-contact against the offense. 15 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 for 15 yards.
I guess the only positive out of this is there was a first down on the play, and it will remain 1st and 10 after the penalty is walked off. Nice play by Napoleon Kaufman. Let's concentrate on the positive, not the negative, and hope Napoleon does the same.
Stayed right with his blockers. Did a
Great job.
good job.
Stayed right behind Garcia. Garcia playing now after that foot is healed too. 1st and 10 now for the Huskies. Ball on the 33 again. Kaufman, a chance to get some of it back, goes up to the 38-yard line.
The Husky,
Chad Eaton on the tackle.
the Husky faithful would disagree with Chad Eaton. There's been some grumbling about the play of the offensive line this year, but that does remain one of the strengths of the team, and a lot of seniors up front in their last ball game. You may see a lot of Napoleon Kaufman inside this afternoon.
2nd down and 5. Washington, number 3 in the conference in rushing. Bjornsson wanting to throw, set up the screen. Ooh, over Kaufman's head.
Eric Bjornsson has thrown 3 balls today. All 3 have been overthrown. The emotion getting pumped up on the part of Eric Bjornsson is definitely translating into the end of that right arm right here. He's just trying to throw a screen pass. There's nobody in his eyesight. He's not trying to lob it over anybody. He had people blocked.
As a quarterback, a lot of times these big games are negative with all the adrenaline that you can't even feel yourself. You're so pumped up, and I think that's what Eric's feeling a little bit now, is he's not comfortable because of all the hype going on, and he's overthrowing the ball.
3rd down and 5. Dodging the rush. Got to hurry to get to the 1st and won't even come close. Ron Childs knocks him out of bounds. So it'll be 4th down for the Huskies.
We've seen 3 third downs so far today, 2 by Washington and 1 by Washington State, and none have been converted. These 2 teams are 9th and 10th in 3rd down conversions in the Pac-10 Conference.
And they haven't done anything today to move up the list.
Jay Dumas, who is 6th in the Pac-10 in returns. And of course, John Wardell, the punter for the Washington Huskies. Wind right now almost non-existent. Flag is drooped. Good punt. Nose comes over. Good spiral. Dumas back to his 10. Trying to go up the middle. Flag goes down. Dumas breaks into the clear to the 31, where he is met hard with David Kilpatrick.
Yeah, Leif Johnson was pushed in the back. Good hang time, 4.35, and but the Cougars had a good return now. They had about a 20-yard return.
54-yard punt, guys.
Let's give some credit to John Wardell, A on the punt and B on the stick. He's the one that ultimately made the tackle, and a good tackle it was. Field position important in any game, certainly in a rivalry game. Cougars are going to be deep in their own end.
John coming into this game 4th with the Huskies in net punting, which is oh so important when you're talking about field position. Andy Mason getting the start.
Pushing it back. On the return. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Look for 34 on 84. There you go.
Chris Love just couldn't lay off, and unfortunately that'll back the Cougs back. Here's where you got to take care of the ball. If you're Mike Price, I expect him to maybe vary from his scripted offense a little and be pretty conservative down here near his own end zone.
3 receivers to the right side from the 6.
Quick trap.
Johnson gets through. Reggie Reeser trips him up, but we've got a flag on the line of scrimmage.
Got a flag on the line of scrimmage, a flag on the other side of the line of scrimmage, a flag out deep in the backfield. Looks like
without the whistle blowing, I'm going to think offense or the defense being offsides.
two motions and a hold, I think, out there.
Yeah, that's what you wonder, you know, what what's the back judge called.
Well, Josh Dunning says it's on the Huskies.
got as many referees as we got broadcasters here today.
Defense offside, defense holding. That's how you get out of your own goal line. In addition to, once again, to concentrate on the positive, a quick trap against pressure, spread the field and run the quick trap and pop it. A good gain for Washington State, regardless of the penalties.
How does the defense hold on a running play is what
I've never understood that either, unless you hold a receiver somehow, but he's coming at you to block normally.
Well, the back judge looked as though he was throwing the flag right at the point of attack, and it was a trap play. It was well blocked.
What would be the penalty? What on defense aren't you allowed to hold on a running play?
I thought you were.
Another new rule we just invented for this game. Intense lobbying from the Cougar sideline to get that one.
Some wide receiver must have been holding on to, or rather a cornerback holding on or something. Oh, they come way out now from the 6-yard line, clear out to the 28-yard line.
Well, that's a big swing for the offense because they were, like I said, on their own 6-yard line coming out, and now they're on the 28, 27-yard line. So big change in field position anyway.
Dela Cruz goes in motion, the slot back, they keep it on the ground again. Johnson looking for the hole, and Springstead meets up with him along with Donovan Smith, number 52.
I would assume the Huskies will see a lot of the counter offense today. We've had a lot of problems in the last couple of weeks trying to stop the play. You can see the counter tray, the backside guard and tackle pulling. Richie Chambers gets up, turns the play back inside. Steve Springstead makes a good hit.
The Cougars watched that SC game, and
sure.
the SC was very successful with it last week, and that's been bread and butter for the running game for Washington State.
This is Pointer coming out to the bottom of the screen. 2nd down and 8. Nobody in the backfield. The Grenier looks, gets it to Carolyn, has the first down for Washington State up to the 40, 41-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Richie Chambers along with Lewis Jones.
Well, Richie Chambers, it looked like he had the tight end and just went to sleep, I guess.
I think what he saw was DeGrenier trying to kind of sifting out from the pocket a little bit, caught his attention, and it brought him inside, and DeGrenier does a good job of throwing the ball to the outside where it can't be knocked down, and good pickup for the Cougars there. Good conservative passes for your quarterback to get some confidence early.
Carolyn with 40 receptions coming in. Dela Cruz again in motion on 1st and 10 from the 41. Johnson pops it up big. Lamar Lyons and Reggie Reeser on the stop.
Chuck, can you guess what play that was?
It looked like a counter tray there, Coach. Looked like Mario Bates or Sean Walters or Delton Johnson. You see the counter action. Back he comes, good block on Springstead, and it's open field.
Really nice job by the right tackle,
Clay Reese
to cave that down inside, and you know, part of the counter tray is getting enough room for your pulling tackle to get up into the hole, and he did a good job really clearing it out for Bailey.
1st and 10. Johnson goes in motion this time. 3 receivers right, trying to go to the up man. In this case, the slot back, Dela Cruz, as Lamar Lyons was defending.
Cougars in this one-back offense often split that one back out, and even if they don't, they've got people spread out all over the field. The Huskies on virtually every defensive down today have had 5 defensive backs in the ball game, but spread out that field, send defenders all over to cover those Cougars. There's just not a lot of bodies left in the middle.
Now they've emptied the backfield about 25 times in the last 4 games, and it looks like it's well, it was empty. Pointer's back there.
He'll go in motion.
Yeah, he'll go. And there's a shift.
2nd and 10, 2 in the backfield now. Hicks and Johnson. And they go to Johnson. This time they're there as Jamal Fontaine, number 47, gets into the backfield.
This defense,
Springstead was in on the tackle.
This defense the Huskies are playing so far is very reminiscent of what we used to see with the Entman guys 2 years ago, where everybody's on the line of scrimmage, a lot of pressure, and I think that's real confusing if you're a quarterback coming up the line of scrimmage and looking for a free safety and saying, wait a minute, there's nobody back there.
There's no reads.
Yeah, there's no reads, and so probably the best thing to do is hand the ball off and get out of there.
3rd down and 10. There goes Johnson. Quarterback draw. DeGrenier, the first down and much more. Down to the 25 of Washington, where he's tackled by Lamar Lyons.
Cleat, I would guess that was a quarterback draw.
All the way. All the way.
Looked like it. Had to wait for the block, though, didn't he?
Yeah, all the way. You watch the block, the double team on DeMarco Farr, and all the pressure comes from the outside. And like we said, there's no free safety. There's nobody there to stop this. And DeGrenier does a good job breaking the first contact.
Yeah,
like Iwaliko there, and picking up a big first down. Cougars now in striking distance in field goal range anyway.
17-yard run. 1st and 10 now from the +25. Pointer wide to the left side. Reynolds to the right. And again, fumble, Husky ball.
DeMarco Farr upfield.
Steve Springstad with the recovery. 4th reception of the year, or rather fumble recovery of the year.
Well, the Huskies are going to have to make some big plays, and the Cougars are going to have to make some big plays to win this thing and chalk up the #1 big play of the game.
DeMarco getting in. He's number 9 in the Pac-10 in tackles for losses to shake things up as Springstead gets the recovery.
Pretty good drive by the Cougars.
Very good. Best of the day.
Yeah, the worst case in that situation was the Cougars had to turn it over.
There's a free one. Kaufman trying to go outside. Patterson gives chase, and eventually Greg Burns gets him out of bounds.
Looked like a late hit there by Washington State.
Just about 4 yards.
Yeah, no, that was.
And you wonder why players do that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's mind-boggling.
Rushing still trying to get out of the Huskies. Look at Pete Caligas out there.
You know, Coach, it's mind-boggling to me to see Steve Morton over on the sidelines for the Huskies.
That's right.
This guy is the coach, as you see the down player. It may be Napoleon.
Now, would it be better if it were Steve Morton?
Yeah, but
Vino's on the field now.
Steve Morton was a Cougar player, a Cougar coach, and it's just.
It's good offensive line coach.
Yeah, he's a good man, but I just can't believe he's.
Well, Dick Baird, receiver coach, played for the Cougars also.
Yeah, here you're going to see the late shot. He's definitely out of bounds, and Ron Childs puts the hammer down way out of bounds, and I'm surprised that wasn't called.
You know, that's what's amazing. Maybe it was called. I guess, are they walking off something?
They're walking off the
That was
offsides penalty
offside.
on Dwayne Patterson.
But, you know, Napoleon says, you can see me celebrate. Why can't you see me get tackled 4 yards out of bounds?
He looks to be okay.
Yes.
Napoleon now getting that per carry yardage average back up there. He's at 5.6. 1st and 5 for Washington. A wide receiver to each side as Matt Jones, the fullback, carries. Very close to a first down.
Good call on 1st and 5. Put your fullback, you figure you're going to get enough yardage to, at worst, set up a 2nd and short. This case looks like it will be just short of the first down.
Subtle little fullback counter off the toss sweep, and you know, one of the things that the Husky defense offense, they've gotten virtually nothing out of the toss sweep this year. It's just almost like a non-play.
We've gone almost halfway through the first quarter. No score yet. Complexion of this game as expected. A lot of play in the middle of the field and few points. 2nd and 1. Kaufman trying to pop through. He is hauled down from behind. I think McClanahan in there with 107 tackles coming into this game. One of the co-captains for the Cougars, and quite frankly, one of the most exciting linebackers to watch that I've seen in a long time.
Some pretty good players on that Cougar defense. Got 3 of their 4 defensive linemen in the top 10 in the conference in quarterback sacks, and then you got Anthony McClanahan, your leading tackler, standing right behind him.
1st and 10, again with a fullback, as the Huskies try to bang away. It is the Apple Cup, isn't it? See Gallagher just take a quick little shot at Ray Hall.
Brian Ford is down, got his ankle rolled over there at the end of the play. I think it was Peterson that rolled over the ankle, and you could see him spring out of there.
Let's take a timeout while they tend to Mr. Ford. 7:17 remaining here in the first quarter of Apple Cup 93. Clock's beginning to run now here in the first quarter. For Washington, it is 2nd down and 8 after they took the injured Brian Ford off the field. We'll get a report as soon as we can. Kaufman nicely brought down by the Cougars. McClanahan and Childs be involved for Washington State.
The Cougars had a good defense up there. Brought Ron Childs off the backside, so he's unblocked.
He comes from a 6'1" alignment, and they cave it down pretty good. really didn't make that good a hit. Napoleon was a little disgusted that he couldn't break that and pop outside. He's a tough little runner.
Surprisingly, Childs with only 5 tackles for loss this year, though. 3rd down and 7. Receivers to both sides, looking to the right again. Going for Matt Jones, and Hayes breaks it up. The sophomore out of San Bernardino, who had played with a pinched nerve in his neck. Bjornsson is now 0 for 4 passing.
I was going to say that on his first couple he was overthrown, and that one he was low and behind, so he's definitely out of sync so far in the passing game.
At least he's made the adjustment.
Well, as you know, the quarterback too, you want to give him something he can throw and get some confidence, and I'm sure the offensive coaches are having a difficult time coming up with something.
They ran the one screen.
Since you can't complete a screen that's wide open, what are you going to do?
John Wardell, who was involved in the tackle last time on the punt return. High satellite punt. No spin, nothing whatsoever, and very tough to catch, and a nice job by Jay Dumas to just catch it. 30-yard punt. So a break for the Cougars to not be back. That's about a plus 10 yards maybe, depending on where are they going to mark it. 26, so a plus 6 yards had it gone into the end zone.
John bobbled that snap momentarily, and also kicking into the wind. You can see the American flag is coming off the lake, the wind.
Looks like Kevin Hicks now in the backfield for Washington State. He's had an ankle problem, and that's part of the reason Delton Johnson started.
Got a cruise in motion. All the receivers they give to Hicks instead, and as you said, he does indeed have the ankle, and the flu bug. A couple of weeks have been not fun for this young man. Los Angeles.
If you watch your replacement ripping off long runs, though, boy, all of a sudden that fever goes down and that ankle feels better.
That's a trap play again, and this is something that the Trojans had luck with. They added a trap to go along with their counter tray, and the Cougars have run that play a couple times today.
The things that Hicks gives you is really a pretty good receiver out of the backfield also.
They also have back there Will Haskell in the backfield on 2nd down. 2nd and 8, going deep. Pointer intercepted. David Kilpatrick gets to midfield. Down to the 40. Flags fly as he returns it down to the 38-yard line. For Kilpatrick, his 4th interception of the year.
But what an incredible dumb flip. I mean, there was a blocker in front of the guy, and then one of our defensive players, the Husky defense players, hit him in the back.
Everybody anxious to get a piece of somebody, but you got to play smart even when the emotions are running high.
Scores 1-1 in shots from the back so far.
We talked in the open about forcing the ball, and that was one where the play broke down. DeGrenier, as opposed to trying to make something happen through the run.
Back on the return. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
This was a good rule change this year, though, in that this is a 1st and 10 now instead of we had a lot of 1st and 25s in the past.
Damon Ewart coming in at quarterback, folks, as you see the replay. Not a bad decision, just the pass was way long. 1st and 10, Damon Ewart at quarterback. Bino slicing off, close. So close to breaking it, but a nice job by Patterson closing in to fill.
Well, that's been the part of the defense that Mike Price has tried to improve, is the team speed. You can see there the hole's open and closed it down in a hurry.
Long time since we've seen Damon at quarterback. He started the Arizona State game, was replaced, and haven't seen much of him since, except for a little bit of time against Oregon State. 2nd down and 7. Richard Thomas at fullback as well. In for Matt Jones. Bino. Lead blocked by Thomas. Gets the 1st down. Stays in bounds. Andrew Peterson leading the charge. And down he goes at the 31-yard line.
That is a play that, again, the Huskies have not gotten a lot out of. A true off-tackle play. And one of the new plays for this game. You see Richard Thomas in there and a kick out. Good block by the tight end. Break a tackle.
Conwell, good block. Chad Eaton and Singer Mobley finally make the tackle.
I was going to say that's an unusual formation with both tight ends to the short side of the field, and they took advantage of the great blocking ability of both of those guys.
See, they got a wing here again with both tight ends together.
A lot of muscle over there with Bruner and Conwell. 1st and 10 from the 31 of Washington State. Flags go down on the line of scrimmage, both sides of the field. No fumble. Eaton being helped up by Patrick Kessie. Flanahan and Childs in on the tackle. Chad Eaton said, "Give me Damon Ewert." Hey, he's probably lit up now like a Roman candle. He's got a chance to go for the Puyallup quarterback. With Chad coming from Rogers High School in Puyallup.
Legal procedure on the Huskies beside the penalty call. Chad, in addition to challenging the offensive line.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line against the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
4 penalties, 40 yards on Jim Lambright's Huskies today.
And you ask yourself again, split end, why can't you get on the line of scrimmage when you know there's a wing on the other side?
And a running play up the gut.
And a running play.
Yeah, he knows he's not involved. 1st down and 15. Ewert looking left. E.J. McCarthy open. Pass maybe a little early. Greg Burns defending.
Not on a 3-step drop down. I think BJ's got to have his head around. I think that was thrown pretty much on the rhythm. Wouldn't you agree, Cleet?
Oh, absolutely. That's just, even if you can't see the receiver over there, that's just a plant and throw kind of deal. And you can see that that looked more like a plant and kick kind of.
Plant and flop.
Yeah.
2nd down and 15.
Huskies have still yet to complete a pass.
Ball on the 36. Bino, if he can get outside, he might have some room. Gets a block from Crawley. Short of the 1st down. Goes down at the 23-yard line. Tackled by John Rushing, the free safety.
Draw play and just an excellent effort, second effort by Bino. And this is what speed will do for you.
Get to the outside and then just flat outruns TJ Folkers, and then Joe Kralik realizes all of a sudden that he's in the play and starts to throw a little bit. 2nd and 15, a good gain. Not to get the 1st down necessary, but at least put yourself in an easier conversion situation.
Bino did a nice job of helping set up Kralik's block, too.
And Torrey Hunter had to stay outside. He had to contain the play.
3rd down and 2 for Ewert and the Huskies. Wide receiver to the left is McCarthy. Fullback, Richard Thomas, and we'll see if he got it.
Doesn't look like it.
Whether the forward progress paid off or not. Childs and McClanahan and Eaton get on the tackle.
Cougars send a lot of people inside, and that's right where the play was. A big pile of crimson, white, purple, and gold.
That's when a weak option would have might still be going. Both linebackers were committed, and the Cougars hit a call. You know, over the years we've done that on the other side. Short yardage, shift those linebackers, cover the gaps, and if they go outside, boy, you're really sealed.
4th down. Mike Price waiting to see what they're doing on the other side of the field. Be it a field goal or they're going to go for it, and they will indeed go for it.
Certainly no surprise to see the Huskies go for it on 1st down.
They need a yard.
21 times this year the Huskies have gone for it on 4th down.
Timeout called on the field as the Huskies will huddle up and think about it. Likewise for the Cougs. We'll be back. .241 remaining here in the 1st quarter. 4th and 1. Checking off, Don?
I don't know. This may be a gimmick.
Ewert still with it. Has the 1st down.
It was a check off. Yeah.
One of the things I was going to say there is with Bjornsson, I would have expected option, not with Ewert, and I think the Cougars were thinking the same thing, but good check by the young man there, and he got outside, picked up a big 1st down.
You may know it's coming every time you play the Huskies, but it's a tough play to defend against. I've said that 30 times this fall, but it was a good call in that situation, a good checkoff.
It may be a situation where the option is the call coming out of the huddle, and he just comes up and calls which way he's going to run it.
Yeah, they just say opposite. A lot of times that'll be the check.
Huskies now in the red zone on 1st and 10. Bino, couple of hitches and gets knocked out of bounds. First time either team's been in the red zone that I know of inside their opponent's 20.
And there's another penalty.
Singer Mobley with the tackle, and let's see what the flag's about.
It's unsportsmanlike conduct, I think, on the Cougs for throwing McCarthy out of their huddle.
Singer Mobley. Referees have been busy here in the first quarter.
He's pointing this way, he's pointing that way.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, DJ's a little bit in a verbal dispute. He won't back down.
Against the defense, personal foul, against the offense, the penalty's canceled.
That's kind of a cop-out call. I always thought that that was, you know, somebody did something wrong. Call a penalty.
I thought it was
on the one guys and walk it off.
Who did it first, though?
The guy that swung second. Usually the guy gets caught.
That's right. That's right.
No harm, no foul, I guess, in this case.
2:03 left here in the first quarter. If you're wondering who all these voices are, I'm Don Poyer. We got Chuck Nelson, Clete Casper, and Coach Don James with us up here at Husky Stadium today.
You see the official calling signal callers and captains for both teams together, basically saying, come on, fellas, let's just play ball. There's been a lot of semi-late shots, a lot of drawing.
Chapel Cup.
Hard to believe, huh?
Just amazing. I'm shocked. Second down and 8. Damon Ewart at quarterback. As you see how the Huskies fare inside the 20. Oh, boy. Good thing that was a fake. Bruner! Interception? No! Incomplete.
Incomplete pass.
Referee ruling it incomplete. Rushing was one of the first, though, that had the best shot at it.
Greg Burns
Greg
looked like
Burns,
he
I thought he had it.
play.
Yeah, I thought he had it.
Get a look here. You see, again, the Cougars send people inside. The play action and rollout. Ball thrown behind. Mark Bruner up for grabs. Greg Burns, yeah, right there.
I think
Ball
Richard
comes back
Thomas,
down.
in the flat, Richard Thomas, he could have gotten 5. I think he wanted to get upfield, try to get a little bit more, but that was pretty well defended.
Rushing is the one who initially bobbled it by the Cougars.
Play is rolled, incomplete pass.
Good call by Jim Fogeltantz and his crew. Burns had a chance to pick up his 4th interception of the year. So it's 3rd down and 8 for Washington on the Cougars 16. Minute 54 to go, first quarter. Huskies 0 for 6 passing today. 2 receivers to the left side, along with the wing, throwing it out to Bino, trying to get around the corner, gets down to the 10-yard line, short of the first down, stopped by John Rushing, the free safety. Bino having a good day today.
The first completion for a Husky quarterback. Don Sasa chasing Bino Bryant, but that's a foot race. I'm going to bet on double ones every time. You can see again, the Cougars send a lot of people.
I was going to say, nice job by Heward just getting rid of the ball because Ronnie Childs was crashing from that 6-1 alignment. And you see the ball pop loose a little bit there, but
Field goal will be attempted by the Huskies, short of the first by 1 yard. So it'll be a 26-yard attempt by Travis Hanson. He is 9 of 10 inside the 40. This one from 26, and it is good. So the Huskies the first on the board, and today I have a feeling field goals are like touchdowns.
Native of Spokane adds 3 for the purple. Travis has had some struggles this year, but he's made some big kicks and has kicked very well inside 40, as you mentioned, Don. That makes him 10 for 11 inside 40 yards. He's 1 for 8 outside 40.
Yeah, Chuck, that seems to be the cutoff. From 40 on, he was 1 for 8 coming into today.
I think he's reading that stat as well, and once he gets beyond 40, it gets up to his into his head that he cannot make that. Jim Lambright happy to get points on the board first, as is part of the 72-5 here in Husky Stadium today.
Coach James, you a little surprised he went for the field goal there?
No, you know, we've struggled on the offense this year, and when you get inside that 15, you better come out with something on the boards. And I believe that was a pretty long 4th and 1 or 2, and then you know you go against a defense that's going to come after you, and you could end up leaving it there, coming off the field with nothing. And
drive overall eating up a lot of time for the Dogs following the interception by David Kilpatrick. 4:26 going almost half the distance of the field, and the 26-yarder for Travis Hanson.
I think it's important after a good drive like that to reward the offense with some points on the board, make them feel like all that hard work is going to pay off with something.
well, you give the other team a great lift too. If you've gotten a break, you took it down there and came up empty.
Defensive coverage or kickoff coverage team for the Huskies, really appealing to the crowd to get some noise going. Jason Crabb will kick off, and I don't think it worked.
Well, I think if they run down and knock somebody down, that's how you create noise in the stadium.
Yep.
Waving your arms doesn't do a whole lot of good. You got to knock them down.
Two pretty exciting kick returners for Washington State in Torrey Hunter and Deron Pointer.
And from the 20, it was Torrey Hunter who made the sliding catch at the 21-yard line.
Kicking into the wind, Jason Crabb hangs it up a little bit. A good catch.
You know, that's a tough play.
Torrey Hunter to be running full speed with the ball coming full speed the other way and trying to time up those two bodies in motion.
That's a free ball if you don't catch it.
That's just the thing. And if you let it go, do you risk letting it maybe going out of bounds or being really ugly if it scoots along the sideline? So a good play by Hunter.
Good field position.
Yep.
On the part for the Huskies anyway.
1st and 10 on the 21-yard line. Could have been worse for the Cougars. Two receivers to the left to keep it on the ground, and my, oh my, Inkaliaga, number 54. Woo, he had the nose on that one.
Now the defensive staff hit a call.
Yeah, that was one where I saw Aliaga lined up behind Mason there, and I knew something was wrong.
And he's going outside, and Ink's coming inside. And, you know, Clete, I'm seeing something here we haven't seen. Last 4 games, the Cougars have been in a two-back situation, only 13 snaps, and I see they've mixed in a little two-back today.
They've tried to change something up to provide a little blocking, I think, for de Grenier, and also run maybe something different. I think maybe we should go back to the one-back.
Everybody's out this time on 2nd and long, 2nd and 13.
A none back that time.
Pointer, the intended receiver, as Russell Hairston was defending.
I think another thing, too, you split people out, and the Huskies, again, have had 5 defensive backs in the ballgame. You bring people back into the backfield. You got Scotty Greenlaw playing linebacker. You see the quick look here to Darren Pointer thrown behind him.
Did you see what they did with DeMarco Farther? They're concerned now about that quarterback draw. He didn't rush. He just stayed in what they call a spy technique. So I guess they're going to have to do a little bit of that with de Grenier's running ability.
3rd down and 13. Again, everybody out. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Going to Carolyn, who makes the catch short of the 1st down, however, to the 29-yard line. Steve Springstead defending along with Lewis Jones.
Split out Hicks to that side. He's one-on-one with Andy Mason. Hicks clears out, and the tight end runs into the flat, but got to run that route about 2 yards deeper.
They're using Carolyn a little more today, Clete, than they have in the last few games, I understand.
Well, I'd use him a lot more. He's a real good receiver, and unfortunately just wasn't able to keep his momentum so he could gather his feet and get that extra yard. The ball had led him outside a little, but not a bad throw and catch there.
11 seconds remaining here in the 1st quarter. Johnston to punt. Dino Bryant waiting. Backpedaling, fumbles, and gets it. Waiting for the wall to form. Now he's going the other way. If he can get outside, forget it. Had more room on the right side, I think, as number 45, Frank Russell, a linebacker, makes the play. And the 1st quarter is in the books for the '93 Apple Cup. And we'll return for the 2nd after this.
The other thing,
only 3 points scored in the 1st quarter. Not a lot expected today with these two defenses. Washington leading it by a 26-yard field goal. 3-0 as we begin the 2nd quarter. I'm Don Poyer along with Clete Casper, Coach Don James, and Chuck Nelson. We needed an extra large booth. Chuck is actually 1 booth down, but he can hear us. Damon Eward came into the ballgame in the 1st quarter at quarterback after Eric Bjornsson went 0 for 4 passing, was really struggling, and the staff chose to bring in Damon.
Chad Eaton had a look at the Husky coaching staff's game plan. He said, I hope Eric Bjornsson doesn't play well. I want to see Damon Eward.
he called it, didn't he, during the week?
He wanted some of it. 1st and 10 now from the 15-yard line after Bino Bryant's punt return. Coughlin trying to get around the corner. Great pursuit by Washington State. Saza actually makes the tackle, and now a flag goes down.
Nice job by Vince Salivar to force that outside so that Mr. Saza can make the play. So number 99 come in from the right side of your screen right here and play off the black and get a chunk of plastic there.
This must be a better officiating crew. This crew saw that. Last week they couldn't see that.
That's right. Last week.
You saw it late.
Yeah, they took their time.
It looks like the Huskies really like that two tight end into the boundary idea and running behind it using Conwell and Bruner.
Yeah, that's the plan. It looks like that's one of the key changes for the week. It's going to be interesting to see what they have off of it.
Face mask, 5 yards against the defense. Repeat first down.
First 15 minutes, here are the numbers. 2 Cougar turnovers. Total yards, Washington by 20. And penalties have been plenty.
We've talked about this game and gone about as planned, and that penalties number, I think, would probably be pretty close.
I think the mic on the referee was still on.
Morning, everybody.
First and 5, they're going to throw it outside. They get it to Ernie Conwell, the tight end, who is one of the fastest tight ends on the West Coast, I might add. Gets it for the first down to the 31-yard line. Torrey Hunter on the stop.
That's the point I was going to make. You talk about the 2 tight end offense and 1 on the wing. You don't necessarily give up anything in the passing game from there. Bruner and Conwell, 2 very good receivers, possibly even at 235, as fast as any wide receivers that the Washington Huskies have. You see the play action, and Conwell just drifts out into the flat.
Boy, it froze McClanahan that time, didn't it? First and 10. Fumble, let's see, on the exchange, and it is. Cougar football deep in Husky territory. Washington's first turnover today.
A big break for the Cougars.
Chad Eaton in there, along with McClanahan. Didn't actually see who made the recovery.
See, this is obviously not a contact type of fumble. That's what happens sometimes when you've got your number 2 quarterback and your number 1 tailback. Some miscommunication there, scramble. Turnovers always hurt, but in your own end, they can be devastating.
Coach, it looked like Heward handed that ball off in the chest of Napoleon there.
First and 10, Will Haskell in the backfield now, one of the running backs along with Hicks. He's been playing quite a bit in the first quarter. DeGrenier going to the end zone. Pointer, no flag. Pointer wanted one as Russell Hairston was defending and got the feet mixed up with Darren.
And Russell Hairston's going to say he knew it was overthrown. He was just trying to give Darren Pointer a little help to get to it. Pushes him in the back and gets away with it. Good protection.
I like the play call, the post corner, and you can see it gets a little mixed up down there, but incidental contact, but a good play call. You got man-to-man. Take a shot at the end zone the first play.
A corner route on an inside receiver on the goal line is still one of the best plays you can come up with.
Pointer playing with a knee strain today. Second down and 10. 3 receivers to the right. Now Pointer goes out left along with Carolyn. Got the whole field covered. Here comes the rush. Incomplete or a fumble. What do they call it? Incomplete. Heat put on from the outside by Springstead. And Lamar Lyons defending on the pass.
Well, at times in past years, we would put on an automatic blitz when the team would empty, and you'd get a team out of emptying the backfield in a hurry if they're going to look at 6 rushers.
You see, De La Cruz has a step on Lamar Lyons. If the ball is thrown out in front a little bit, he might be starting up that Husky helmet car in the back of the end zone.
He did what he had to do. You have to throw hot to an inside slant.
Dumas now the slot back. 3 receivers right again. Empty backfield. Carolyn to the left. Third down and 10. Here comes the Heat again. They set up the inside slant. Pointer's got room. Needs to get to the 15. Does. First down. Cougars down to the 13-yard line.
Nice call by Ted Williams up here in the booth, seeing the adjustment like you talked to, Don, of almost an automatic when they see no backs, and they'll go to a little screen, much like USC did to Grace last week. Just get him the ball in close and let him run.
Inside pick, inside move and a pick, and it's right in front of the quarterback, so it's an easy throw for him. And, you know, it's just the key thing now, how many times you want to get your quarterback hit from behind. But that was a good call.
Kilpatrick and DeMarco Farr on the tackle. That's why Pointer has such a great per catch yardage average. I mean, he's way up there, almost 21 yards per catch. First and 10, short pass that time and a lot of leg work.
Timeout there by the Cougars.
Timeout.
All right, let's join the Cougars and take one as well. We'll be back with 13:39 to go, first half. Cougars threatening, but trail by 3. Three to nothing, but for the Cougars, it's 1st and 10 from the Husky 13. Pac-10 volleyball comes your way Monday evening as the Washington State Cougars host the Arizona State Sun Devils. Join Rich Waltz and Alex Webster for all the spikes, sets, and volleys beginning at 4 o'clock on Prime Sports Northwest.
Well, we've got lots of spikes and volleys here today.
Want to say a special thanks to everybody watching at Cougar and Husky alumni clubs and parties throughout the state, the city, and the nation for that matter. I know folks back in Atlanta, Denver, and Dallas getting together for this broadcast. Great to have you with us. 1st and 10 on the Husky 13. 2 receivers to the right. They give it to Hicks, and the Huskies are waiting.
They hit a call. They did the same thing the Cougars did a while ago. Both linebackers filling those gaps inside, double blitz inside.
Aliaga, number 15, leading the charge, the redshirt freshman.
See Springstead and Aliaga both come inside, fill the center guard gaps, and fill the Cougar backfield as well.
If I'm Ted Williams up in the booth now, what I come at is play action. After I've seen with all the things they're going to do up the middle, I run play action out of the one back set. He's not going to do it because he's got 4 wide receivers.
Empty covered guys on 2nd and 11. Quarterback draw, tripped up right at the line, maybe got 1.
See, that was his answer, a double outside blitz against a no back and run the draw again, quarterback draw. Almost got away with it.
Almost snuck through.
Springstead is the one who got it by the shoelace.
You see DeMarco takes that outside rush, and if Springstead doesn't get him by the ankle, he's running to Lake Washington here.
Springstead now number 4 in the Pac-10 in total tackles. He's been a busy guy the last few weeks. 3rd down and 11. 2 receivers right. Reynolds to the right, Pointer to the left side, top of your screen.
Fumble. Husky ball.
Husky ball. 3rd turnover on the Cougars today.
This has not been real purdy, Don.
No, it's not. It's not been. This is like a first game of the year rather than the last.
Well, Chad just didn't get the snap as he was pulling out of there. He just backed out, and sometimes you get the noise down there. You call the snap and back away, and the ball doesn't come up quick enough, and it was just messy. And that's a big turnover, as big as Napoleon and Damon Heward's mishandle was.
All centers make line slides too, and he's worried about linebackers coming in, and it's easy to do.
Well, the problem for the Cougars, you're in the red zone and you're coming out with no points. Eric Bjornsson back in at quarterback. 1st and 10. Kaufman, good first down play of 9.5, maybe even 10 yards. Kaufman has now passed Hugh McElhaney in career rushing. So he's now up into the 2,500 area.
Great lead block by Matt Jones out here on the perimeter. Look at that. Gets a lick on Childs, and then Dave Janoski downfield on Torrey Hunter. William Kaufman needs 162 yards as we start the day to break Greg Lewis's single-season rushing record. He's had some big plays here today. This one for a Husky first down.
Now that was away from the wing that time. One of the first plays, they've come back to the short side.
I was going to say that was a change-up after running all the time. Their tendency going to the 2 tight ends. That time they went away from it.
Cougars with 77 yards rushing here in the first half against a very, very fine Cougar defense against the rush, averaging about that per game.
Yeah, they've been holding teams to 65 yards a carry, and so far I think from their defensive standpoint, they're doing what they need to do is trying to force the Huskies into the passing game where they haven't had too much success today.
Huskies already with 78 yards rushing.
Yeah, when you hold people that well against a run, that means they're throwing and you're getting a lot of negative yards through the sacks.
Exactly.
But that's still pretty impressive, 64 yards.
Not bad for the Huskies today either. 2nd down and 9. Ball is now on the 26-yard line. Looking option all the way. Bjornsson tucks it under. Gets a lot of room. First down. Greg Burns wraps him up and throws him down. Not until he gets up to the 42. And a first down for the Huskies.
I believe that's the first option play we've seen by the Huskies today, and it's good to see Erie get back in there. He'll get some confidence out of that. Maybe he'll complete a pass now before this quarter's out.
13-yard gain.
You see a nice job by Chad Eaton forcing Eric to go a little deeper than he likes to, but the hole is still there when Eric gets there. 6'5", 2 1/4, has 4.5 speed. He doesn't mind taking licks. 14 receptions as a wide receiver last year and 1 this year.
Good for 18 yards rather than 13. This time on 1st and 10. 2 receivers are brought to the left side, Janoski and I believe it's Kralik. Bino wide to the right. Looking Bino all the way, isolated against Mobley. Intercepted by Singer Mobley as they tried to get Bino open down the right sideline against the strong safety.
I tell you, that was a great play by Singer Mobley. Bino had about a half a step, and Mobley got his back into him and forced him wide so Bino couldn't come back and get the ball.
Well, and also Bino's not an experienced receiver, and this is the first thing you want to do. If I don't catch it, I can't let you catch it. And you know, Bino just didn't get in there and make the play on the receiver. He had to become a defender there.
2 turnovers for the Huskies on offense today.
Good look at Singer, and again, he's from Tacoma, and he's playing in front of his hometown fans, and that's one he'll be able to talk about for a while. Nice play.
1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. Little delay, and DeMarco Farr is waiting for Haskell. Haskell's the one that was met by Aliaga. He's having a tough day today, running into a lot of purple. Young freshman out of New York.
And DeMarco is a load for any offensive lineman to block one-on-one.
Pretty quick on his feet for a guy of his size. You can see right here, he just absolutely dusts Clay Reese, I believe. Or Paul Reed. I couldn't see if it was a 5 or a 7, but either way, another tackle for loss for DeMarco Farr.
Everybody up on defense on 2nd and 13.
Gonna go deep. Gonna throw the lob.
Good call. Trying to go to Reynolds. Keith Reynolds. And Russell Hairston defending. Of course, the first thing you're thinking when you're a defender is, okay, we're showing the world everybody's up, so expect the deep or the lob.
Get out of that back pedal in a hurry.
That's right.
Turn and run.
Head for the lake. DeGrenier, the JC transfer out of California. His longest pass this year, by the way, 52 yards.
Here's another situation where you're down in your own end zone, and while you've got 3rd and long, I think you want to keep it relatively quick and conservative.
Long way to go. Pressure, down he goes, and they will call it an incomplete pass. Nice job by DeGrenier to get rid of it as Fontaine put the heat on.
Well, DeGrenier is going to get hit from the no-back. I mean, you just got to, they're going to bring, they've got an automatic blitz on. You can see it.
See, that no back may give him a bad back. And a bad front. In that case, he does unload it. Probably fortunate that there's no Husky defenders in the area. Of course, every Husky defender available is in his back pocket.
You've got one throw. You've got one chance. And if you can't find a receiver, you got to tuck it up and just hold on the ball and take the sack.
Johnston from his own end zone. Bino with a chance to get some good field position. Bad punt, however. Short. Now a Husky bump. And it comes to rest at the 31-yard line. So great field position for the Huskies.
It's an 18-yard punt. Yeah, the wind's blowing pretty hard, but not quite that hard.
Steve wanted some of that power when he kicked a 60-plus yarder into the wind last year in Pullman. A lot of great quarterbacks have played in this game. Here are the quarterbacks from the past winning games. Every one of them in the NFL with the exception of Tim Rosenbaum, of course, who retired. He'd still be there if he wanted to be. 1st and 10 for the Huskies. Kaufman trying to get outside, not this time. Nice job by rushing to come up and meet him at the line. And he's hurt.
Never really made contact with anybody that hard, but kind of landed awkwardly when he got off of the sideline. He kind of got jammed.
May have hit that track, too.
Back got kind of popped and twisted.
So it's 2nd down and 7 as Kaufman went to the left side.
Talked on some of our other Husky broadcasts about how many people they've started on defense. One of the reasons for the Cougar success on defense, 10 of the 11 starters have started 9 or 10 of their 10 games this year. Good consistency on that defense.
2nd down and 7 for the Huskies. They get a free one, they do. Kaufman pops it. Gets to the right side. Start blocking. JOHNSTON in front of him. Can he get to the corner? Touchdown, Washington. The flag, we believe, will go against Washington State.
The second flag in the Cougar backfield down at the 11-yard line.
Could be a bad block, Chuck.
Generally an open field play like that, you're going to get some sort of push in the back or clip.
Well, Napoleon is flirting with another 15-yard celebration call.
Jim Neville says the penalty is on Washington State. Let's see what our official says.
Offside.
Personal foul in addition. The touchdown will stand.
That's raw speed there. That's just running away from people. And Senior Mobley almost got him.
And you talk about those big up front guys doing a good job. The point of attack very well blocked, and then it's just shiftiness and the strength to get away from an arm tackle, and there's the speed comes in. See, Mobley's got a hold of the back. Hunter can't get off the block, and Napoleon Kaufman, touchdown number 13 on the ground for him this year.
The John Rushing injury could have impacted that play.
Yes.
His backup, Todd Jensen, came in and missed a tackle, one-on-one on the open field.
Well, Napoleon was already way deep, and you can't blame that one on Jensen, but it sure would have been nice to have him wrapped up near the 10-yard line than dancing in the end zone. So
50 tackles versus 15. That's a lot of experience they gave up.
Travis Hanson back to kick the extra point. 25 of 26 this year, and we got Cougars in there too early. It looks like Sasa again.
The Huskies are already going to get an extra 15 yards on the kickoff because of the personal foul penalty on the touchdown run. They might get 20. Might end up seeing an onside kick. They'll be so deep in Cougar territory. So Sasa's trying to blame somebody else.
He's a junior out of Long Beach. Big man. 6'4", 278.
See the signal there. He says David Reiner's moving the ball on him.
Dead ball, offside, defense, half the distance to the goal.
Go ahead and
just decline that one, or
don't you usually assess it on the kickoff? Because they're already assessing one on the kickoff, they're going to change their mind.
He didn't turn his mic off.
Yeah, he's having a tough time with that.
It's refused.
Travis doesn't want to move his spot that he's got all picked up.
I know I can make it from here. I've done it 26 times already, 25 times already this year.
Got to use my 9-iron if I'm going to get any closer. And it's good.
Penetration though, and you don't want that.
See another flag on the extra point, but officials don't seem to be in any hurry to keep the teams on the field, so that must be on Washington State as well.
In the backfield, that could be 12 men. Could be a lot of things.
Well, Patterson's pointing towards the Huskies. Let's go back and see something that's worth watching. And that's a good play, in this case, by the Huskies.
Well, they get the handoff to Napoleon. That was the first part on that delayed draw, and there you see Jensen missing the tackle. And from then on, you got Napoleon, and you got to make the wager that he's going to get into that end zone. He's done it a number of times. And if he didn't get called for celebration on this one,
he's in the stands.
Yeah,
I was going to say, where's he going?
You got to assign your fullback to go get Napoleon. You can keep him from celebrating. Joe Kralik made an excellent block downfield to help spring that. And wide receivers have to help spring long runs.
Well, the Huskies were supposed to have an advantage on the kickoff because of the penalty on the touchdown, but the penalty on the second extra point was unsportsmanlike conduct on Washington. That'll walk it right back. They're going to end up right where they started at the 35. So much for field position.
Didn't take long. As how quickly the tide can turn. Washington State was in the red zone. Then the fumble.
We talked about when the Huskies fumble deep in their own end, how devastating turnovers can be. The Huskies got away with it. Washington State not so fortunate.
Yeah, now they're moving the ball up.
They're going to walk it off to the 50 and then walk it back.
Walk it back, that's right. Ah, you can tell it's the apple cut.
Wolf needs a little exercise. He's cold out there.
And he's got family and friends that want to see him on TV too.
Anybody you want us to mention, Walt?
Walt's from Spokane, isn't he?
Back to one of the Cougar Club gatherings over there.
Crowd getting a little antsy. I don't blame them. It's time to play some football here. Goodness sakes. 9:47, second quarter. Huskies up 10-zip.
I'll say on behalf of Walt Wolf, I think he's been one of the most consistent umpires in our league in the last 10, 15 years.
Crab with a kickoff.
Winded is back.
Oh, he belts that one. Torrey Hunter will let it go. So they shall go out to the 20-yard line. Torrey, number 24, the junior out of Tacoma. Yet another one of those great players out of Curtis High School. And now wearing the crimson and gray.
Well, Washington State, the offensive side really needs to put together a drive here, and Sean Deeds is coming in at quarterback to kind of change things up. I'm not sure if that was something that was planned, that they just wanted to get Sean some time, or they felt he might be a little more effective against this pressure defense.
First and 10 from the 20. They hand off. Lamar Lyons, Inc. Aliaga, host of Huskies up there, meeting the ball carrier, Hicks.
That's a free safety making a tackle about 2 yards downfield.
Correct myself. That was Haskell, I believe, carrying the ball. Yes, it was.
Nice to have free safeties that also weigh 210 pounds. That gives you the luxury of lining them up 2 yards off the ball.
Shot a big guy, 6'5", 230. Looks at a second down and 8. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left side. Haskell in the backfield. Play action. Looks for number 21, Shane De La Cruz. As Inc. Aliaga was there defending.
I think it was a good read, don't you think? Just didn't get in the ball.
He could have gone to either side in the flat. He had Carolyn up top and De La Cruz down below as you get a good look at Sean Deeds.
His numbers, 39 of 92, only 42%. 2 touchdowns. He does have that 66-yarder, his longest pass. But the interceptions. 3rd down and 8. Tight end, Carolyn got a lot of room. All the way up to the 43-yard line on a quick little hitter and a late hit. Flag goes down. So they may pack some more yardage onto this long play to Carolyn.
I wasn't sure if Brett was going to catch that ball. He caught it about 3 times.
Well, that was a big play. As you see, the Cougars bring the one back in and block this time to take care of some of that pressure, and Brett is just able to get the fingertips on the end nose of that ball and carry it for a big first down. Then you see the hit afterwards after he's pretty clearly down. I think it's Springstead that just diving on the pile wasn't, intentional. I think he just got his feet tripped up in there. But again, a big play for the Cougars as they're able to get across the 50-yard line now. And again, it was really important that they did something on offense in this drive to change the momentum. You could feel the Huskies on offense anyway, getting in the groove.
Ball in the 42 of Washington. Haskell and gets maybe 3 yards inside as Kilpatrick's one of the first there along with Springstead.
Eric Moore in at tight end. I think Brett went out, didn't he? A little bit banged up.
Yeah, he looked like he was just needed one play to get the breath back.
Moore you see in there. Moore's not caught a pass this year. Haskell, the running back, by the way, nice young man out of Staten Island, New York, lining up behind Deeds, the Paulsbo native. 2nd and 8. Gonna go deep. Pointer.
Incomplete.
Incomplete with Reggie Reeser, Russell Hairston. It was Reggie defending. Now another flag goes down.
Flag on the field, obviously going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on somebody.
Oh, Reggie Reeser celebrated. He made a play, and he made a great play, and the officials are not going to let him have fun out here today.
It's a little ridiculous. I mean, I understand the intent of the penalty, and this is just taking the fun out of football.
And I'll guarantee it, it's called differently in the Pac-10 than any place else in the USA, I will guarantee you.
Here's the play action, and Deeds buys enough time to send this ball down, and really an excellent play over the top by Reggie Reeser. but he's going to tell everybody about it, and the officials just aren't putting up with this at all. So.
And that's, he's not supposed to dance, and he knows it. They're basically their kids that show off. And you know who likes it the most? Their own teammates, their peer group. But all those fans up there don't like it, and those officials don't like it, and it's against the rule.
It's not very smart.
Cougars will take it today.
Besides all that.
First and 10 of the ball on the 24 of Washington State. Haskell is sent out. They go back to the tight end again. Boy, they've gone for that little quick slant to the tight end on a couple of occasions.
Well, you better cover the tight end on this offense.
Oh, yeah. Especially one as good as Carolyn.
Carolyn had 40 catches coming in. They've thrown that hot route at least 3 times today. That time I think Walt Wolf might have made the defensive play. I think Sean Deeds saw the umpire standing right where he wanted to throw it and ended up throwing it into the ground.
Well, earlier, Brett went outside. Carolyn went outside on a couple routes. Now they've got the safeties a little bit confused.
Deeds with 2 touchdown passes this year. Now it's a 2nd and 10. De La Cruz goes in motion. Pressure. And was trying to go to Haskell, I believe. As Springstead was on top of Deeds.
Trying to get the flow going with the motion, trying to get the Huskies thinking wide side of the field, and the play just doesn't develop. And luckily, there's no Husky corner out there to pick that ball off. That was
like a screen.
Yeah. Screen all the way.
And, that was dangerous. There was a lineman blocking downfield, and the ball landed downfield. You can block downfield on a screen behind line of scrimmage. What a difficult call for that official out there.
3rd down and 10. Carolyn coming across the middle and was quite simply thrown behind him.
Well, Deeds is shaking a little bit. He got back. He set up where he was square to the end zone. His front foot wasn't in your normal kind of drop stance, and he just was really uncomfortable, and lucky that didn't get picked off because it was really in no man's land.
Mike Iwaliko hammered him on the play before.
Deeds is 1 of 6 passing today.
That'll shake your confidence and your teeth.
Aaron Price, Coach Price's son, coming out, the senior out of course, Pullman.
Into the wind.
16 of 31. 41-yarder. And it is good. 41-yarder good for Aaron Price, and the Cougars are on the board. 10-3 here in the 2nd quarter.
Officials have really gotten involved in this game. They're really into it. Well, I think they felt like they were losing it a little bit. Guys, again, I mean, the first play you saw, opening 2 plays of the game, you saw out routes and guys running into the bench and pushing guys and getting pushed back, and I mean, everybody was chippy from the get-go. And I know they're trying to show everybody who's in charge.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boy. Just under 8 minutes to go here in the 2nd quarter. And the 41-yarder by Washington State and Aaron Price. 2nd quarter really is a turning point for Cougars. It's the one quarter where Washington State has been outscored, 89-87. They've given up 7 points here in the 2nd quarter and have scored 3. The 3 coming off this 56-yard drive, and you made a good point, Chuck. The last 30 yards.
56-yard drive, the last 30 of them on 2 Husky penalties. Getting away from a very good kick by Aaron Price into a pretty stiff breeze. I tell you, if I'm a kicker, he's had 32 attempts in 10.5 games. Holy smokes.
It's good to have your dad as the coach.
Can I play? Can I play?
Here's a situation on the kickoff against a pretty stiff breeze that I think you might see one of those little pooch kicks again. They've been doing that a lot.
Look out for P.A. Emerson. There it is. And it'll be Bino from the 21 and gets hammered. Chris Hayes now. Let's see. Yes, it was. Chris coming down to make the hit.
No flag on the play, however. Point that out as Roger Verity.
Great, we're going. We're going to have to play the second half on Sunday.
Eric Bjornsson returns at quarterback.
So the Huskies will start it on their own 28-yard line. 1st and 10, 7:50 to go here in the second quarter.
The weathermen say that as the day goes on, it is supposed to get wetter and windier. The windy part has certainly come.
Pitch to Bino. And well defended. Rushing back into the game. Help from his safety.
Nice job by the defense. Dwayne Patterson stretching that out. If I'm Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, I don't care what happens. I want to force Bjornsson to run the ball because I do not want Bino or Napoleon to get that pitch. I'd rather have Bjornsson running for 25 than those guys for 60, but a pretty good job on stretching it out.
That was a lead option too, and there's no interior fake to hold anybody. Right. So you're just basing everything on getting out on the corner.
Hunter up there doing a nice job too. 2nd down and 9, they only get 1. Eric still with it. Get away from Patterson. Looks down, Matt Jones.
Janowski.
They're going to say he caught it. Dave Janowski somehow kept the foot down on that pass.
You don't get that call much in front of the opposing team's bench.
Eric Bjornsson's got to consider himself pretty fortunate. That ball was in the air a long time.
This is just a prayer he's throwing up, forcing it in there, and watch him keep the toes in. You can't quite see him, but a nice reception, like his namesake Scansy used to do to us.
That's what I was just going to say. That's a Paul Scansy catch if there ever was one.
I think that ball's being thrown to Matt Jones as well, Don. I think you called it correctly, and Janowski just kept the play alive.
First completion for Bjornsson. He's 1 of 6. 1st and 10. Jones trying to keep the linebackers honest.
Jones, the ball carrier. In at 2.
McClanahan and Matt giving it back and forth to each other.
Those guys don't need to knock helmets any more than they've done over the last couple of years. I mean, you're the lead back and the middle linebacker. They've been clanging it up pretty good for, geez, at least 4 years.
You got it.
They started at 6'3", now they're both 6'1".
And the neck doesn't move around like it used to.
2nd down and 8 for the Huskies. Kralik is wide to the right. Janowski to the left. Down goes Bino. Chad Eaton in the backfield to make the stop.
Chad won one.
Oh, he did that time.
Pat Kessie's in there. Basically, Frank. Here comes Frank Garcia.
Garcia's back, number 65, and Kessie walks to the sideline.
Just moved him back. Swum over the top of him and dragged him down. So a nice play. It looked like that was checked to by Bjornsson there, checking to that little draw play. And Chad wins one, and he can say, "Hey, I told you so."
Garcia back at left guard.
In a hurry.
3rd down and 10. Protection time for the Huskies. Trying to set it up to Bino.
Nice play by Eric. Screen isn't there. He just throws it at Bino's feet.
Yeah, you've got linemen downfield. You just got to get out of the play. You got a bad play call, and get out of it.
It doesn't do you any good to keep the play alive because you can't throw it to anybody anyway, or you're going to get the penalty for the people downfield.
So John Wardell must come back out. Eric Bjornsson with the 1 reception so far.
Pretty good series there for the Cougar defense. Again, they had the long pass that Janowski made the great play on, but shut him down otherwise.
You can see the speed on the option.
Dumas, number 6 in the Pac-10. Torrey Hunter's 5, but Dumas back on this occasion. Hop, skip, and a jump on the snap. Nice job by Wardell. Dumas from the 15. Down he goes. Good coverage by the Huskies. Leif Johnson down there, number 34, along with, I believe, Justin Thomas, number 5.
There's Ozzie Wardell gets the gold glove on that one. David Reiner is center saying, "How was it? How was it?" John says,
"In the dirt."
In the dirt. One bouncer. Nice play.
Wardell better not do a backflip celebrating or he'll get a flag. Boy, this day's gone.
He better not smile or he'll get a flag.
So Jim Lambright's team leading 10-3. 5:25 to go, second quarter. 1st and 10 from the 16 for Washington State. Quarterback still with it. Haskell fumble. They keep it in bounds. Yes, they do. Husky ball.
I'm not sure he got control of that.
I don't think he did either. Boy, from here it didn't look like it.
I think the official that made the call is the one that Russell Harrison had his body between that official and the ball. To see a discussion as to whether or not the referee officially says yes, Husky ball.
Well, it looked like a pretty good play to start out with, and the back's open, but Will Haskell just gets it punched out by Jones.
Lewis.
And you can see the referee. Boy, that's close. That's a tough call.
It really is close.
Hands are around it, then he bounces out of bounds.
Mike didn't think he had control.
No.
The ball was in bounds when Russell, certainly his hands first made contact with it, but you know, at what point do you call it
Control?
Control. Is it when he first hits it or when he actually curls around it?
1st and 10 from the 16. Eric on the pitch. No, he'll hold on to it, and he is a landslide of sorts, you might say, on top of the quarterback, as John Rushing was one of the first to get there. Here again is the fumble.
Well, from a Cougars perspective, you think that this ball is recovered right as the ball hits the out-of-bounds line. You can see it's jumping, and there is on the line of scrimmage, or on the end line there, and that's just a tough call. The referee's right there.
I wouldn't want to make that call. That's a really tough call.
You could argue that one both ways.
Yes, you can. 2nd and 9. Janowski comes out to the left side. Here comes the blitz. Bino manages to hold on to the ball at least, and nice penetration by Washington State with a good call by the defense, and Chris Hayes getting in on the ball.
Coach James, how do you feel about the controversy of Bino versus Kaufman, and Kaufman obviously being one of the best athletes ever to attend this school? Why do you bring Bino in?
Well, first of all, this school would not have won a national championship without Bino O'Brien. He is a great football player. I felt like Bino ran with the point most of the time except last week at SC. I thought SC, that the point was running a little better.
3rd down and 9. More pressure coming. McCarthy. Nice job, Torrey Hunter. Good job by Torrey Hunter on the stop as Rushing fell down on the fake by McCarthy.
Does DJ McCarthy have his mouth taped up?
He's got his mouth taped up.
I wonder if he did it himself or if he had some help from the coaching staff.
I think Lambright has slapped that big Band-Aid on there, but a nice job by Washington State's defense after the turnover deep in their own end zone to at least force the field goal attempt. The blitz coming, McClanahan, Mobley, everybody's got man-to-man coverage out here, and Torrey Hunter is able to latch on to DJ and bring on Mr. Hanson for the field goal attempt. So you got to salute the defense there and not letting them get in the end zone.
Very good play. 34-yard field goal attempt for Travis Hanson. Fumble, oh my goodness.
David Reiner, the long snapper, on field goals as well as on punts. 2nd consecutive tough-to-handle snap that time cost the Huskies points. You can see that the Huskies have gotten the ball and not been able to do much with it.
Well, that won't go down as a turnover, but it is. It's a big play for Washington State's side, and you just got to slap the high fives to the defense, keeping the Huskies off the board after the offense served it up to them. So nice job by the whole defensive side of the ball for the Cougars.
David Reiner hopes the only thing getting slapped is that Cougar defense.
Hicks on the carry to the left side. Aliaga wraps him up.
It's one of those things you take for granted, a long snap as part of a punt and field goal operation until something goes wrong. David Reiner's done a good job all year long.
That'll bring up a 2nd down and 11 after the loss of 1, just under 3 minutes, actually 2:40 remaining here in the 2nd quarter.
Cougars would love to get some points on the board.
3 wide to the left side. Looking left all the way is Deeds. Got Pointer picked off. Lawyer Malloy with, I believe, his 2nd interception of the year. The redshirt freshman out of Lincoln High School.
That's twice now that the Cougars have gotten what is in effect a turnover and given it right back. One deep in the Husky end, one deep in their own end. Now Lawyer Malloy and the Huskies looking to put some points on the board before the half.
Just not a good decision at all. There's 3 guys back here, and there's no pressure on Deeds to throw that ball where he did with no one being open.
Plus it was short.
Just a bad decision to throw it there where there's coverage, and like we said, you can't force it into this Husky defense.
1st and 10. Bjornsson still with it. Throws a bullet out to Mark Bruner. Check at Ernie Conwell. And Torrey Hunter was defending along with Chris Hayes.
See, Ernie had that was kind of a tough one there. Chris Hayes was doing the John, and Torrey Hunter got the elbow. I don't know what they're John about. They didn't make the play. It was Ernie's hands, unfortunately, that didn't get it done. Good throw by Eric Bjornsson.
We talked about Bino being in the game, and now Napoleon is back in for the Cougars, or for the Huskies at the one back.
2nd down and 10 with 2 receivers left. Kaufman short of the first down, but down to the Cougar 30, we'll call it the 40-41 yard line. 8-yard gain as Ron Childs makes the tackle, the junior out of Kennewick and Kamiakin High School. Very good football team this year. So it'll be 3rd and less than 1. We'll call it 1 yard.
Kamiakin playing Gonzaga Prep, I believe, over in the high school playoffs this afternoon. As you see, Napoleon 73 so far, needs another 90 to become the single season all-time rushing leader for the Huskies.
Huskies needing the first down, not going to get it that way. Now they do. Oh my, good effort by Napoleon Kaufman.
That's a perfect example, Don. You can't ever give up on Napoleon Kaufman.
I didn't think there was any chance at all with 2 Cougars coming at him with John rushing.
Well, the play is supposed to go the other way, and it's forced outside, and there's Torrey Hunter, and he's a pretty sure tackler, but those are strong legs. They're not long legs, but they're strong legs.
Napoleon Kaufman weighs 175 pounds and can bench press 385.
You can do that, can't you,
Twice his weight.
If you add up 2 lifts, I'm okay.
1st and 10 with 1:41 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Ball on the 36 of Washington State. That one may have been ditched because the defense was there, certainly, with Greg Burns.
Well, it looked like Eric came up the line of scrimmage and got deked a little bit as the Cougars were up, showing pressure and right in the face of the 2 wide receivers. And after he checked to it, they backed right out and played zone. So.
I was going to say that was a misread all the way. You could see him check, and the 2 backs stepped up, and he kept both backs in, thought he was in man coverage, and then there's a lot of bodies back there in the zone, and that was probably lucky to be thrown where it was.
Eric looking at 2nd down and 10. Ball still on the 36. Kaufman in the backfield with Jones in front of him. Kaufman will get it and won't get much with it.
Once again, that pressure from the outside. Chris Hayes crashing down from the outside linebacker position, gets to Napoleon before he can even get to the line of scrimmage.
Still didn't take him down, though.
No.
You know, he
slowed him down.
Looked like he had him bulldogged, and Napoleon kind of backed out of there and threatened to go for more. So you got to finish the job there, Chris.
This is the Cougar defense versus the rush that Cougar fans are used to seeing, only giving up 65 yards a game. The Huskies have doubled that in the first half, 130 on the ground, but been tough sledding these last 2 series.
3rd down and 8. Kaufman, can he get outside? Has the first down. What a first half this young man is having. Got a flag down. John rushing on the tackle for Washington State.
Looked like the late hit out of bounds on Napoleon Kaufman. 2 consecutive 3rd down plays that Kaufman picks up 1 more than he needs. Huskies, this is a big penalty here with 50 seconds to go and the ball around the 25-yard line. This half the distance penalty makes that 50 seconds.
Mike Price better watch it.
A couple of minutes.
I was going to say Mike Price better watch it or he's going to get 1 on him.
Personal foul. Defense. Half the distance to the goal.
Kaufman now 12 carries for 90 yards in the first half.
He's just got that brilliant ability to bounce it outside at full speed, and again the missed tackle, and here's the late hit, and that's a tough call because you got a wet surface, and Anthony actually laid off and as best he could, but the officials are having happy flag today. They're all over the place.
I think they're real worried. They're hearing all the chirping going on. I think they're real worried about this game getting out of hand, and they're trying to do what they can to keep it under control. I think in that case they could have kept the flag in their pockets.
Probably on several occasions they could have done that today. 1st and 10 now for Washington after that great run by Kaufman. Matt Jones, one of his better runs today as he gets it inside the 10. Down to the 8-yard line where Ron Childs stops it.
The clock continues, he says. as Eric Bjornsson calls timeout. 43 seconds to go. Again, that penalty against Washington State, giving the Huskies only 12 yards to the end zone, makes that 50 seconds on the clock, now 43, pretty much unimportant.
Incidentally, if you're wondering where Coach James went, he has gone down to the field where, between you and me, he doesn't know it, but he's going to be honored at halftime. They've asked him to go down, thinking he's going to be part of a ceremony to receive a donation for the Harvest program, when in reality, I believe he is going to be honored by the team and the band and everybody else here, since this is the last home game of the year. Tune in Tuesday afternoon for a key packed-in football matchup. Of course, the UCLA Bruins and the Trojans, with the winner going to the Rose Bowl. This game features the two best receivers in college football. No argument there. Southern Cal's Johnny Morton and UCLA's J.J. Stokes. So catch all the action beginning at 4 o'clock on Prime Sports Northwest. 45 seconds remaining for the Huskies. Al Levan, the running back coach, and of course, Jim Lambright. Rick Mallory on the right, who has filled in for Miles Corrigan after the heart attack. It's been a tough season for this team and the coaching staff, filling holes. Jim Lambright, the head coach, defensive coordinator, linebacker coach, all in one season.
Well, you're allowed 9 coaches, and the Huskies are really coaching with 7.
Well, those 7 coaches may be thinking option down here near the near the Cougar end of the field. Pretty safe play with Bjornsson, and it's a good way to get away from the outside pressure.
2nd down and 7. Huskies can get a first down. Kaufman still on his feet. Oh, he scored! Unbelievable! Brian Ford was in there jamming it up, and Kaufman was able to get around the left side.
Napoleon Kaufman going to sign a contract to sing with the Bee Gees. Staying alive, staying alive.
I'm just wondering if it's going to be an NFL contract he signs next, instead of coming back here next year.
Well, that'll put him right about the 100-yard mark for the day in the first half. More importantly, his 2nd touchdown of the day.
I know what he has said, that he plans to be here, but he has by no means made it a full commitment to be here next year. Just wondering if we're seeing a swan song or not.
He's singing well if it is.
Hanson. And it is good. That's the one that hurts the Cougars, giving up that touchdown in the last minute here in the first half, 17-3, as Kaufman picks up the TD. Let's look at it again, because Brian Ford had a jam going against Andrew Peterson.
We've seen Napoleon Kaufman on some big 3rd down plays. The point of attack is stopped, and Kaufman picks up first down. This time again, Cleat bounces it outside and has the speed to get there before anybody else does for Washington State.
Just a great effort.
It's a one-man band right there.
It's a great individual effort there to get in the end zone. Had nothing to do with the blocking, had nothing to do with anybody else on that field, except for his ability to get smacked in the face, bounce it outside, and use great speed to get the end zone. That's great stuff for Napoleon, and poor stuff for Brian Ford, because weighing 295, you'd think he'll smother that guy. Unfortunately, he's a tough rascal.
I guess what I say to Brian Ford is, you needed your help. He was there jamming it up, but needed help from his linebackers. Well,
38 seconds to go, and the wind blowing pretty hard in the Cougars' face.
Cougars will get the kickoff to open the 2nd half. They won the coin toss and deferred. If you're looking that far down the line, Crabb will again kick off, leading 17-3. Hunter from the 10. Lots of room. And almost went the wrong way, Cleet.
I think he was worried about stopping the clock there, but looked like he had a seam, but it's easy to say from up here.
Yeah, I guess it is. The drive itself for the Washington Huskies eating up over a minute and a half, and the 8-yard run by Napoleon, and only 8 plays.
Huskies now have 152 yards rushing.
Napoleon, by the way, excuse me, Chuck, 75 yards in the in the 2nd quarter alone. Hicks wrapped up by DeMarco Farr.
The Cougars are just going to have to clock run out. They have 2 timeouts left. They're going into that win with 19, now 18 seconds running, and DeMarco Farr's tackle makes that decision even easier. You don't pick up any yards on first down. We might as well just get ourselves halfway up the tunnel.
Hicks with 5 carries for 1 yard today here in the first half. He's averaging 4 yards per carry for the year.
Now Washington State calls timeout with 10 seconds to go instead of calling timeout with 20 seconds to go.
Well, I think it may have been more a case of confusion for your quarterback, you think, Cleet?
Well, the only thing I could think of is he's just going over to Sean Deeds saying, look, we've got 10 seconds. Let's go ahead and instead of sit on the ball, let's pitch one out there. That's the only thing I can think of is, what the heck, this isn't for the Rose Bowl or anything like that. Let's throw something deep and maybe we get lucky. Worst thing is we go out with a big incomplete pass. That's kind of what I'm thinking that Mike Price might have changed his mind on. But
run the clock down far enough so there's only one play. So if you do throw a bomb and it's intercepted, the Huskies have no time to run an offensive play back.
See that snow up in the mountains. A lot of Cougar fans, I suppose, having to battle those elements when they go home today. Another good reason, I hate to get into this, for not having a kickoff at 3:30. And that's the last thing I'll say about it. Second down and 10 with 14 seconds to go here in the first half. That's Darren Pointer in motion. Haskell, and gets his longest run of the day, short of the first down. The clock still going. 5 seconds, and that should do it here in the first half as Richie Chambers made the tackle. And that's it. First half in the books here in Seattle, with the Huskies leading 17-3 as they go into the locker room. We'll be back with more after this timeout. Welcome back here at halftime. You see the initials, DJ. Don James and his wife Carol again being thanked by the fans and the band. We'll try to relay to you what the PA announcer is saying. And as they go through the chronology of his very successful career here at the University of Washington, Don bringing many a Rose Bowl title, and of course in '91 the national championship. And as we watch that, we will talk to you a little bit more about the first half involving these two teams, with Washington leading 17-3, and turnovers. And I'm not just talking about the Cougars. I think some 7 turnovers in the first half. But Cleet Casper, 5 suffered by the Cougars in that first half.
Well, we knew going into this that the offense had to take pretty good care of the ball, and they just haven't done that at all. Here's Sean Deeds, who comes into the game in the second quarter, and this is just a gift. This is throwing it up to Lawyer Malloy, and you just can't give the Husky offenses that any more chances than they already have had. Also, the snap problem when the Cougars were in close, threatening to score and maybe make it a 10-10 ball game. They ended up turning it over again, so you just can't do it. The Huskies are too good a football team to give them that many chances on offense.
Well, the Huskies have taken advantage of some of their chances on offense. At least Napoleon Kaufman has. Right here, a very well-blocked play that Napoleon makes great use of both strength and speed. And once again, as we're so used to seeing, the foot race to the corner, and Napoleon wins it. In fact, we got to see it twice in the first half. That one, Napoleon had a lot of help. But on the second touchdown for Washington, Napoleon Kaufman, he's on his own. Brian Ford for the Cougars stuffs the play at the point of attack, but the Husky offensive linemen keep throwing at least, and then Napoleon Kaufman gets into that sprint and just outruns John Rushing to the corner. 17-3 Washington. I think you can directly contribute, obviously, 6 of those points to Napoleon Kaufman. He had some nice runs on third down conversions today as well.
The numbers as we completed the first 30 minutes. Again, the turnovers 5-2. Penalties 6. on Washington State, 7 for 85 yards on the Huskies.
Well, I think two things stand out on that page for me. That's the rushing yards for Washington, 152 yards and a half against the #2 rushing defense in the country. And then that 85 yards in penalties for Washington. Remember, Washington State got their field goal in a drive that had 30 yards of penalties on the Huskies.
Right. And then the 103 yards for Washington State so far. And again, back down on the field, Don James, the wife Carol, hugging a few people. Steve Empman down there to say a special thanks. And Don talking with his former great and probably the greatest lineman ever to play here at the University of Washington. Steve with a cane after the injury suffered on the second knee here recently in the NFL, guys. That's hard to see. Steve Empman with that cane. But it's awful nice to have him here to be able to say thanks to his coach. And of course, Steve, part of that national championship team in '91.
They've had some great successes here. Don James, 18 years as the head coach. This is the first chance to officially salute Don James. And the Husky players have saluted him with a great effort in the first half.
Don will be joining the team as it comes out. He wants to join in on the salute to the team as well for a final time. And we'll be back with the third quarter after this. Halftime just about concluded. Don Poyer along with Cleet Casper, Don James, and Chuck Nelson. A 17-3 lead for the Huskies. Washington State looking at a few other numbers. Kaufman with 95 yards rushing in the first half. Bino Bryant with a pretty good first half with 35. Delton Johnson with 32 yards, over 6 yards per carry. Haskell carried for 8 yards and DeGrenier for 4. But the passing, guys.
Well, the big number that I look to from the Cougar standpoint is the guy that's your big play man is Darren Pointer. He's got 1 catch for 12 yards, and that really spells it out for me. You got to get the ball to him, even if it's on the reverse, something to get it in his hands. And in order for the Cougars to be successful this second half, that's got to be a focus.
WSU a collective 6 of 19 in passing with 2 interceptions. Washington 4 of 14 with 1 interception. The longest being 19 yards for the Huskies and only 21 for the Cougars. So passing game, there isn't one today for either team at this point anyway.
I think that's a credit to both defenses and to the win as much as anything.
Cougars deferred after winning the toss. They chose to receive here in the second half. Hunter gets it up near the 20-yard line. Here's what the Cougars did with the ball in the first 30 minutes. And then later on in this first half, they went on to get their field goal, going 56 yards. But it's been a struggle so far. 3 points on the board for the Cougs, and they trail at 17-13.
Well, the one thing about this Cougar offense, even though they're down 17-3, it is a big play offense so that they can jump right back into it in a hurry. It's not like you've got the wishbone where you got to go, 80 yards on the ground at a time. They can pick it up in a hurry.
First and 10 from the 19-yard line. DeGrenier starts at quarterback. Hicks in the backfield. Pressure right away. Iwaliko was on top of DeGrenier a split second after the snap.
Nice job by Mike Iwaliko. Just comes down right off the bat inside of Josh Dunning. See Mike on the right side there, just splits Dunning and McCloskey, each thinking that the other guy had responsibility, and Chad DeGrenier pays the price.
That's the effect of stunting and people coming and confusing the offensive linemen, and got a no-hitter on that play, did McCloskey and Dunning.
Iwaliko, a Seattle boy. Now it's second down and 10. DeGrenier wanting to throw across the middle. Goes to his tight end, Carolyn. And it is good, very close to the first down. and rejoining us, Coach Don James. Congratulations. That was wonderful.
It was a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of old friends down there.
I see Steve Emman was down
Yeah,
there.
got to talk to
See the replay.
Jimmy Clifford.
A little play action, try to influence the linebacker, and there's a big hole there. Carolyn, I think, though, is the guy that the Huskies would prefer catches the ball as opposed to some of the wideouts.
Well, one thing that hasn't changed, though, Coach, while you were gone, they still aren't covering the tight end.
Johnson, Lewis Jones waiting for him.
Third and a long one, and the Husky defense comes up big.
And it'll be fourth down.
The Huskies have this win at their back in the third quarter. Want to take advantage of it. A good defensive series right off the bat should establish good field position. One way to take advantage of that win.
And everybody remembers a certain third quarter last year. 29 unanswered points when the Cougars had the win at their back over in Pullman.
Would you have to bring that up?
I'm sorry, Don. Near block. Lawyer Malloy got a piece of it. And it goes to rest and out of bounds at the 46-yard line of Washington. Malloy with a piece of it with his left hand, looked like.
We've seen big plays right off the bat by the Husky defense on 3rd and 1, and then a big play by Husky special teams. Good field position.
And let's see what Washington did in the first half. 3 punts in a row, then a field goal, the fumble in the exchange. Then in the interception, touchdown for Napoleon Kaufman, the punt, the missed field goal, and then finally, late in the first half, Kaufman gets his second TD.
You see the starting point there. The 3 of the last 4 drives started in Cougar territory.
It's also a lot of drive for one half, 10 opportunities.
Coach James, I talked to your old friend Jim Walden, and he had some retirement advice for you. It was do exactly what Carroll tells you to do.
I've been doing that for 41 years.
Same old, huh, Don?
What does that have to do with retiring, huh?
First and 10 for Washington on their own 47. Kaufman getting up near the 49-yard line.
I missed a pretty good run by Napoleon, did I not?
That was all right.
Oh, it was sweet.
Those are those moves that I taught him when I was still coaching. Yeah.
It was amazing, Coach.
Where I was standing right down here on the 35, it looked like everything was stopped up. There was no place to go.
It was. From up here, it looked the same. Brian Ford had done a nice job of standing it up, and as Cleet said, the speed of Kaufman, he simply made it on his own. And right now, present time, 2nd down and 8 for Washington on their own 49-yard line. Pitch out to Kaufman. Oh, nice block by Matt Jones. Pete Pearson out there leading the way. Was he at a tight end spot that time, Coach, or was he still a normal tackle?
Weak tackle.
Weak tackle, okay.
They had the 2 tight ends on the bottom of the field here, the bottom of the formation.
Okay.
Speed option, again, at speed against speed.
TJ Folkers on the tackle for the Cougars.
Here, Dwayne Patterson is going to elect to stay with Bjornsson just for that half second. And like I said before, I'd let Bjornsson run all day, and I'd get to Napoleon if I'm Dwayne Patterson.
Number 8's the guy to key on.
Yeah, I mean,
This is amazing. The rushing defense, and we've talked about it quite a bit already, but it's still feather in the cap for the Huskies. Kaufman got a lead blocker. Matt Jones, as well as Ernie Conwell. Flag goes down after the first down is made.
Another face mask.
Mobley was in there in the tackle, yes.
Flags go down, and thankfully Napoleon gets up. That face mask was grabbed rather forcefully. You see once again, good job up front by those guys up front. Matt Jones is in Cougar territory deep before he hits anybody. And then Mobley gets a big chunk of that purple. He's going to have to scrape some purple paint out from underneath his fingernails.
Bruner had an excellent block on Dwayne Patterson to hook him and get the corner.
Face mask.
Mark is a good blocker, and in that formation, he's shaded outside, so he's got a little bit of an edge. But Mark Bruner is a fine young man as well as a good blocker, good receiver.
You know, the name we have not brought up very often is Dwayne Patterson today. They've kept him pretty quiet.
Well, in our pregame show, we said that the 2 tackles are going to have to block somewhere today if we're going to move the ball, and you can see 177 rushing yards already.
Patterson definitely a big player and hasn't made any yet today.
Kralik, the only wide receiver. They go with 2 tight ends, Matt Jones, and he is met by McClanahan right away at the line of scrimmage along with Ron Childs.
Well, they'd like to rub off a tackle, you know, double team the guard and rub off and get McClanahan and kind of pick him off, and they didn't get a piece of it.
That's the kind of play we're used to seeing from McClanahan, is the down tackle. It looked like Ford in there did a good job of occupying two people, allowing McClanahan to fill into the hole there.
12 tackles for loss coming into the game. That one a gain of only 1. If he's going to close that fast, that tackle's got to rub off pretty quickly because he gets there in a hurry.
2nd down and 9. Mr. Ford at the office. Looking to throw. Way too hard and way too high. Trying to go to Matt Jones, was Bjornsson. Eric and Heward back next year.
That competition will go on all spring.
Yeah. He's 2 of 11 today in the struggle.
Husky coaches would just as soon see the competition start right about now and have somebody step to the front. Eric had by far his best half as a quarterback in the first half against USC. He looked real comfortable then and came out in the second half and looks like he's forcing it, just trying too hard, much like he does today.
3rd and 9, I'd still look for Napoleon here. That's been the most effective weapon.
Kralik and Janowski left, doesn't matter. There's Kaufman.
You're right, Clete. They've got just as good a chance, better percentage of getting something out of Napoleon than they do with the passing game right now.
They call a play to run it back towards the middle of the field.
Ron Childs on the stop along with Patterson that time. So it'll be 4th down.
A field goal here too puts Washington State into a position where they have to score 3 times. So you're not going to do something stupid on 3rd and long. You're going to try to get away with the high percentage play.
19, let's make it a 29-yarder. 28 probably officially in the books. We'll wait and see what they call it, but it is Travis Hanson. And it's good. Extending the lead on the 28-yard field goal, making it 20-3. We'll be right back. Field goal at the end.
41-39. They were up 39-38 with what, 30 seconds to go, something like that?
Yeah.
A minute.
That's amazing. And that was at South Bend. I thought it was in Boston. South Bend. South Bend.
Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, Tom had a great year a couple years ago. Turned down a couple NFL jobs.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
The Patriot job before McPherson took it?
Yeah.
Two field goals today for Mr. Hanson.
And they had the bad snap on the other short one.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, snap was on the ground.
Did he ever get a chance to kick it?
No.
No, didn't even try. Part of the sellout crowd here. A lot of crimson and gray along with that purple and gold today, of course, with 11-12 to go in the 3rd quarter. And a field goal by Travis Hanson, his 2nd today, extends the lead to 20-3. And your time remaining as you see. Don Poyer, Don James, Chuck Nelson, Clete Casper. All of us up here in our own little version of the APEC conference ourselves in the press booth.
Always did take 2 of them to make one of me.
That's right. I always wondered if the president and the gang over at Lake Island are a little bored and they've turned the game on. They found the satellite dish and turned it the right way. Got their business done, light up the fire in the fireplace and eat some salmon and watch the game.
Call it business.
I doubt it. Fumble. Oh! Pointer able to hold on before the pressure by Chambers, number 32. No time wasted, my goodness.
Well, they thought they were going to get cute and switch the receivers as...
I was going to say, I didn't see Hunter down there.
Yeah, as Torrey Hunter has been returning all the kicks, and they tried to get it to their number 1 guy, but no execution. It's kind of been the story all afternoon for Washington State. Have not executed well, and they need to put a drive together here to get a little momentum back on their side, because right now the Huskies are threatening to maybe blow this thing out.
Darren had returned 11 kickoffs, so it's not like it's something new to him. 1st and 10 to Grenier, rolling out. A lot of room to run if he can do it. Fumble!
Cougars retain possession, but the speed of DeMarco Farr chases down Chad DeGrenier, and when DeMarco gets close, you better tuck it away.
Here's the scoring drive again. The 28-yarder by Hanson, eating up almost 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Let's look at it again.
Well, the Cougars switch it up a little bit, and they're going to roll out DeGrenier, and he's got a real wide field, but DeMarco Farr comes in from behind, and that's just great hustle by DeMarco to continue to pursue and make a play there.
Second down and 7. Got a Cruz in motion. Johnson. And the fill is pretty good by Chambers and company. Caliaga in there on an initial hit. Wrapping up the ball carrier.
Cleat, have the Cougars moved the pocket like that much this year?
They just started to do it with DeGrenier. With Pattinson, he was more of a pocket type of quarterback, and DeGrenier with his athletic ability has been something they've been trying to use just to get him out as a run threat. But it's, again, changing your offense in the middle of the season, and it hasn't been too effective.
Johnson now has 35 yards for the game. 3rd and 4, pressure, and they're going to get it. Carolyn has the first down. Flag goes down as Carolyn goes down likewise at the 41-yard line. Lawyer Malloy, Steve Springstead out there. But let's see what the flag's about. It was in.
I'm going to guess it's Reynolds with a hold.
Very well run play, but Reynolds down field.
Keith Reynolds, number 3.
The flag was thrown right where Keith Reynolds was blocking. It was thrown well after the catch had been made. So it's defensive holding on Washington. That flag was thrown awfully late.
Again, on defense, how can you hold?
Especially after the reception's been made.
Carolyn had the ball in his hands and was 10 yards downfield.
Defense, 10 yards from the end of the run, first down.
He just had a slow hand reach to the pocket, but a very well-run play. You see Lawyer Malloy and Steve Springstead both trailing Brett Carolyn across the field, and the flag is thrown right there.
How can you have a hold in that area?
Unless it was something before the camera picked it up. But
well, we all saw the flag at the same time, and it was certainly after Carolyn had made the catch. Wow. 1st and 10, 49-yard line of Washington. Pointer in motion. Nothing much there as they try to go off right tackle with Delton Johnson. Jamal Fontaine up front. 9:18 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. No gain officially on the play. Lawyer Malloy, he'll be back. Marco Farr will graduate as you look at that huddle.
I think on that play, they're just trying to set up play action a little bit here. I'd look for Mike to follow it up. It's something that he likes to do after running one play, come back with a play action and try to hit something deep here.
2nd down and 9. Pointer to the near side. Looking Pointer. Trying to go to the tight end, Carolyn again, who defended by Springstead.
It looked like maybe they could have called pass interference there.
Oh, that one was close, yeah.
Steve had real close coverage, maybe a little too close.
Man-to-man all over the field. Usually when you get man-to-man, you think about going deep, but that time, DeGrenier looks for his money man today, Brett Carolyn, and you can see that Springstead trying to look back.
You can usually
looking for the flag.
Yeah, you can usually tell if the defender is looking up real quick. Yeah. He knows he's been close anyway.
Carolyn, 6 catches, 73 yards today. 3rd and 10.
Well, there he is again.
Carolyn again, first down. He could go all the way. He's got speed.
If that was man-to-man coverage, Lamar Lyons did not even see him, or if that's Russell Harrison.
Brought down by Hairston at the 15, 16-yard line.
I think it's got to be Hairston because Lamar Lyons came up the middle.
Yeah, it's Russell Harrison, and you see him standing back there, and if he's keying into Brett Carolyn, he didn't see him. So there was probably a confusion there. It had to be man-to-man.
3rd and long, a big conversion for Washington State, and another big gain for Carolyn as he goes over the 100-yard mark today in receptions.
So it's 1st and 10. Cougars looking for that first touchdown today. They trail 20-3. 8.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Ball on the 16. DeGrenier, it's deflected by a Husky on the throw. Scott Greenlaw defending on the nearest receiver.
You see Chad there saying, I'm trying to get the cross, coach. I'm trying to get the slant coming over after my inside slot guy clears out that lane, and it looks like it's there, but somebody named DeMarco Farr, nope. Aliaga showing great athletic ability.
I'll tell you, I like him.
Boy, Huskies, they're coming. They're bringing the blitzes, the dogs, and a lot of one-on-one coverage. Got to throw quick.
Aliaga, as we said, getting his first taste of the Apple Cup, and he has the instincts of a veteran. And a timeout is called by the Cougars and Chad DeGrenier. Let's take a timeout ourselves. 8:20 to go, third quarter.
Coaches' comments. Monday morning at 7:28.
What, 13 penalties the first half?
Yeah, about 130 some yards.
Woody, you seem a whole lot louder all of a sudden. Have you guys noticed it, or is it? Yeah, you're a lot louder all of a sudden.
It just seems to be a lot
Tell
of
Woody that he's a
open
whole lot
backfield.
louder
We're
all of a
coming.
sudden.
Woody, we're gonna
Woody's
throw it.
loud.
But they haven't covered Carolina yet on an inside slant.
No,
Not at all.
they got enough guys.
Yeah, they just,
Atta baby, thanks.
Russell didn't even move.
Now just say Don Poyer and Chuck Nelson. 8:20 to go, third quarter. 20-3, Washington on top. Tune in to Prime Sports Northwest on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, for the newest edition of Husky Profile. Join Chuck and me for features on the upcoming men's and women's Husky basketball season. An a cappella singing group, you know him, the main attraction, and Husky mascot King Redoubt. That's Thursday night, Thanksgiving, 8:30 on Prime Sports Northwest. Mike Price, 1-3 against the Huskies. Got his first win. The man to his left and our right is Mike Levenseller. Saw his record broken in receiving this year by Johnny Morton, and now Jim Lambright in his first Apple Cup as a head coach. And it is second down and 10. Cougars into the red zone. Everybody gone. 3 right, 2 left. Oh my goodness sakes, he tripped over his own man. Was it Reed?
Paul Reed with the sack. Oh, it's a good break for Huskies. Tough break for the Cougs.
They dropped off into zones, only had a 4-man rush, and that probably confused Chad a little bit. He didn't know where to go with the ball.
Actually, Paul Reed had done a good job on DeMarco that time, and Chad, instead of stepping up, stepped back, and that's just something that you got to say that's bad luck and go on the next play, but not let it affect you. You're still in scoring position down here.
It's also the result of Chad getting hit time after time after time. He's looking to go backwards instead of forwards.
Your first thought right now is not stepping up into the pass rush.
Third and 20. A lot of room's got Carroll in the block for him. Oh, he stops. Throws to complete down to the 14-yard line to De La Cruz.
Really surprised there's no flags on that.
Short of the first down. Let's get it established, but he's down to the 13.5, call it 14-yard line.
It looked like to me that half the offensive line had already marched downfield, but they got away with that a little bit.
The Huskies are in a twist, and then when Mike Iwaliko went down, there was no one in containment out here. Chad did a good job here. You know, he's got to make about 20 yards, and he's not going to run for 20.
Yeah.
4th and 7.
Did not make the first down. Ball's on the 14. 3 receivers, including Pointer to the right. There goes Johnson to the left side. Here come the Huskies. De La Cruz, the intended receiver. Lawyer Malloy with his hands on the ball.
Well, we finally stopped the slant route by the tight end. First time today.
Well covered.
Except this time it was the slot, right? De La Cruz.
De La Cruz lines up inside, but same route, new face. Great play by Lawyer Malloy. That right hand pretty close to the back of De La Cruz, and that left hand definitely on the football. Mike Price rolls the dice on 4th and 7.
Well, he doesn't need 3s. He needed a 7.
Heward back in at quarterback for Washington. Ball still on the 14, 1st and 10 for the Huskies. Coming outside, lead block, Richard Thomas. Kaufman, oh my goodness. All the way up to the 28-yard line and a first down.
Would you call that a pretty good individual effort?
Greg Burns with a tackle, but he broke so many en route.
That was played as well defensively as you can play.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you do to your players?
His ability to slide off tacklers is uncanny.
A great job here of getting there behind Richard Thomas. Thomas, a good job on Childs, and Napoleon just keeps his feet moving. Gets through 1, 2, 3. Greg Burns finally with the rodeo move, but it's first down Huskies in better field position. See, he's getting awfully close, needing only 24 more.
1st and 10, only needed 162 coming in. I say only. Kaufman, the rate he's going when he had 95 in the first half. This one up to the 34-yard line where Greg Burns again meets him.
The offensive line for the Huskies now looks to me like they're coming off the ball pretty strong. They've been starting to get the feel here of what Washington State's going to do on defense. You know, after so many repetitions, you kind of figure out, okay, they're lining up here, I'm going to smack him in the mouth because I know he's got to get this side breastplate or whatever, and they're starting to really get the tempo of what the defense is doing.
2nd down and 3, only one receiver to the right. Kaufman now goes out left in motion. Thomas and carries the stack for a couple of yards, short of the first down, I believe. Needs to get to the 38. Host of Cougars in there to meet him.
Well, to follow up on what you said, you know, the Husky offensive line has been a little bit maligned, and they have a lot of respect for the Cougar defense. And you know, they prepared well. Talking with the coaches this week, and that's the best way to get a good performance. If I respect the opponents, and I'm going to get ready to play them, and they've done a good job. This is one of their better efforts.
Kind of like there were a fair amount of fisticuffs too this week.
I think there were about 30 fights on Tuesday.
That's something.
That's part of preparing, right?
Yes. But then you look, it's a good thing they can run the ball. Look at the passing productivity, 40 yards.
But look at this, 201 yards now for the Huskies rushing.
17 and a half minutes to go in the game. Or excuse me, 20 and a half minutes to go in the game.
As a quarterback, the best thing I liked was a strong running game, and it's always kind of fun to hand the ball off and sit back and watch. Oh, nice play. Yeah, nice job.
If you don't fake too well, they don't tackle you.
Yeah. Get away from it all. And don't get the uniform dirty.
Huskies looking at 1st and 10, now on their own 38-yard line. Clock continue to grind along. Hewitt at quarterback. Kaufman, flag goes down. And it was thrown from the backfield, or rather secondary of Washington State. John Rushing with a tackle.
That's Walt Wolf, the umpire, and I'm sure where he threw it, that's got to be an offensive hold. I take back all those good things I said about Walt.
You said he was consistent, but that didn't say he was good or bad.
Yeah.
I heard a nice compliment from Steve Wilson. Remember the umpire last week, the young man from Whitworth.
Here we go again.
No, I'm just going to say he's. All right, shut up.
No,
I'm going to put you 2 booths down. No, he said of all the coaches he dealt with, Don James was always the one who by far knew the rules better than anybody. Okay, that's all I was going to say.
Thank you. I like Don Wilson a lot more than I used to. I'm liking him more than I do Walt Wolf now.
Don Wilson, Ball goes back to the 28-yard line of Washington, so it'll be 1st and 20.
About 15 penalties now for the day.
Cougars got to take advantage of this one, though. They need the ball back, and long way to go for the Huskies. They'd like maybe to force a turnover here. Let's see if Jeff Woodruff is going to throw the ball at all.
Ewert at quarterback. They're saying yes. What a catch by Janowski. Gosh darn it.
He looked like he was pretty airborne when that ball hit his hand.
It sure did.
Well, if I'm a Cougar fan right now, I'm saying, let me see this one over.
Yeah.
I had a wide receiver coach when I was playing for the Rams named Jimmy Ray, who taught his receivers, put your feet in bounds, then go get the ball. The ref is looking at the feet, not the ball.
That's a great catch.
Yeah, but it's
that's awful close.
I don't know. I don't care if it's in bounds or not.
Great catch.
That's a great catch.
Short of the first down, however. Life is not totally perfect. 2nd down and 5. They picked up 15 on 1st. Kaufman. Ernie Conwell kicks his man out, and Napoleon tries to cut inside, but is stopped by McClanahan.
Remember, this was 1st and a long way to go, and that catch by Janowski gets the Huskies into 2nd and 5, and now 3rd and 3. 146 yards on the day for Nipster, looking for 16 more to tie Greg Lewis.
I got a quarter on the table, says he does it.
I'll take it just for fun.
Okay.
Napoleon's best effort of his career, 208 against California last year.
California, I know we're on tape delayed in some places, but elsewhere we are live. I heard that California was leading the Genius at one point. 3rd down and 2. Kaufman. Wow.
That's a great job of running, but your offensive line can create some things too. And they got into the Cougar defense and gave Napoleon an opportunity to find something because it wasn't there at the point of attack.
Flanahan with the tackle, but you're right.
It's a combination of the linemen getting enough of the defensive players that they can't get anything more than just a hand. And you see Chris Hayes, that's not going to tackle Napoleon today, and that's just a combination of pretty good effort by Napoleon and good blocking up front for the 1st down. That's a big 1st down for the Huskies.
And they are into Cougar territory again from the 46-yard line of Washington State. Kaufman. Kaboom. Good pursuit, and Greg Burns coming up to make the stop, along with McClanahan.
Your best bet on the counter, Trey, is to follow that backside tackle, or fullback if the fullback is a backside blocker. But the guard's going to kick out, and you've got to get up in the hole.
Just under 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter as this game and the Huskies continue to grind it out on the ground. They're up to 212 yards, but they keep that clock rolling along.
Well, we saw in the 1st half too, each team had about 9 or 10 possessions apiece. This 3rd quarter has just been 1 or 2 possessions each way.
2nd and 12. Leon Neal getting a carry, and he is short of the 1st, but down to the 40-yard line. John Rushing making the tackle, the junior out of Merced.
Washington State has made some great plays on 1st down and 2nd down, but they've given up the advantage that they gained. Great play on 1st down, but you got to play 3 downs and out, not 1 or 2. Very well blocked. Jim Novell with the pancake. Leon Neal.
Richard Thomas.
Yeah, Richard's the one that got him twice. Sideways and then pushed him out of the way from behind.
Makes you wonder what's the problem with Bino Bryant.
Yeah, with Leon in there playing. He got a lot of playing time against Stanford. He may get himself 6. Rushing pulls him down at the 20. That offensive line is having its best day.
Maybe Jim Lambright sees the success that Napoleon Kaufman is having and says he's not coming back. I got to get next year's tailback ready.
20-yard run.
Leon Neal, great job of getting up into the hole and seeing daylight and turning on the jets.
Leon's probably thinking, oh boy, I hope I don't lose a hamstring right now. I've been standing for the last 2 hours.
And Napoleon's back in the game.
So Bino may be banged up. 1st and 10, just inside the Cougar 20-yard line as Napoleon returns with 140-some yards for the day. Kaufman over the top, over Jim Novell, and inside the 15 to the 13.
You've heard me say it many times, but that is a very, very large run at this end of the field, 4-down territory.
Oh, yeah. Chris Hayes on the tackle with John Rushing. 1:18 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Washington State defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer is down on the field, and he's trying to figure out, okay, do I risk something? Do I bring a free safety? Do I do anything to change up what's happening here? Down close to the end zone here, you can maybe free up your free safety or your strong safety with a blitz.
Janoski, the only receiver left, to go into the option. Oh, Heward stays on his feet. A flag goes down very near Heward. So you know what it probably is. But Heward doing a pretty good job of carrying the ball and busting a tackle initially. Tackled by Chris Hayes.
The flag came from deep in the backfield over here on the sideline. You see the option play, good read by Damon Heward. Does a good job of hanging on to the ball. Cracked back block. Somebody coming back towards the ball from wide. You've got to stay up above the waist. As much as a 4-yard run is a big run in this part of the field, a major penalty is a big penalty down in the red zone. Big time. It's you know, again, the players know the rules.
Yep.
Well, again, if you're the defensive coordinator for Washington State, now you've got more field to cover if you do send people.
Oh, good.
And if you send people inside on a run blitz, Napoleon Kaufman is so good at bouncing off of that pile and getting outside, and you have no bodies left if you send them all inside.
Got to try something, because what's been happening so far in this drive is not good. So, you know, maybe you risk a big play, but I'd bring someone up the middle from the secondary.
2nd down and 15.
Make them check.
They did. Kralik and Janoski out to the right. They're going to go with the toss sweep. Kaufman, not much there at all. And another flag goes down.
I tell you, if you could figure out a way to play this game without those guys in the black and white shirts, it'd make me happy and a lot of football coaches.
And a lot of people would stay warmer. Hold on the Huskies.
Well, so far they've been our best offensive threat.
Well, this drive here, if they would ever score, they'd have to make up 45 yards in penalties.
Have to get clear down to the 10-yard line for a first.
This could be a 75-yard drive that contains 9 or 10 first downs.
I'll guarantee you, when the evaluation officials, the coaches on both sides will evaluate critical calls, and there have been a lot of them in this game, and those officials better be right.
Offense, 10 yards for the foul, repeat second down.
You're getting yourself out of 4-down territory, out of field goal territory.
Again here, though, if I'm the Washington State side, I'm thinking, hey, number 8, he's your guy who's been hurting you. Let's focus on him because he'll probably come out of that deep set with the delay, and I'd still think run here first.
Penalties, oh my, 2-1 almost for the Huskies as per their average. Hewitt rolling out. Doesn't have enough room to make the first. Gets down to the 26-yard line on second down.
It's a good job, though, of getting that, putting that field goal back into the Husky offense and making that 3rd down play a little bit shorter. The Huskies thinking much like the Cougar defense in terms of thinking run. They stayed in a 2 tight end offense, even with 2nd and 25.
And the Huskies didn't have a go route on that route. They had 2 short routes, and I'm sure Damon was wishing that one of those guys would just go deep.
Jim Lambright wearing many hats, as we've said during the broadcast this season. As a defensive coordinator, linebacker coach, head coach. Huskies looking at 3rd down and 17. Kralik and Janowski again out there. Kaufman. One slip, and it gives enough time for Ron Childs to close in. And that's going to do it for the quarter, more than likely. 9 seconds. The clock is stopped.
The Huskies called timeout to preserve the wind advantage on a 42-yard field goal. Travis Hanson, probably the first to put his hands in the shape of a T on that one.
More than likely.
Just incessant tapping on Jim Lambright's shoulder.
Timeout.
Went at the Lambeau just to make sure.
That subliminal message.
This is when the wind is supposed to change.
Yeah.
A little after 3, you know.
Where's that Husky rain in the 4th quarter of November?
They did last week against SC. Remember, the Huskies had the win the complete second half.
Yes, they did.
Travis Hanson. Long field goal of the year is 42. This one winded his back. Would equal that.
I would suspect the Cougars will come pretty hard, seeing the down and distance and the status of the game.
Well, 2 of the field goals, they've split the middle. They've had a guy free. And if the Huskies don't correct that, that can get you in a lot of trouble in a hurry.
Blocked a couple this year.
Travis in his last Apple Cup. Jason Crabb, also a senior, so that's going to be one position the Huskies will have to fill next year with new people.
Punter John Wardell also
he's
a
gone.
senior. David Reiner, your long snapper, is a senior.
You know, one guy I'm going to miss watching is that's Leif Johnson on special teams.
Leif Johnson, your #1 special teams guy, is a senior. There's a lot of...
He's got 10 tackles this year, 4 of them unassisted, and he's an offensive, he's a fullback playing on special teams. He's got a fumble recovery, touchdown.
This is the case where Travis has to tell himself this is a 35-yarder.
42 officially.
Come on, Wayne.
It'll match his longest of the year, and it's good. He matches his longest with a 42-yarder, giving the Huskies a 23-3 lead. And he is now 12. Check that. He is now 2 of 9 beyond the 40 yards. So he's had a couple of 42-yarders.
See those inside guys this time. Don't give up any penetration. Winded his back and right to left. Started at the right post. Look at those flags right there. Bring the ball right back into the middle.
Travis with 26, 28, and 42-yard field goals today.
The senior from Spokane will feel better about going home for Christmas.
The other thing that this does, it lets the Huskies kick off with the wind. And although Jason Crabb didn't hit the last one very good, with the way the wind is blowing right now, this could at least make the Cougars go 80 yards.
Well, let's see if the Cougs try anything down here. We got Pointer again down there, along with number 23, Hicks.
Both coaches said that they had big playbooks this week. Lots of reverses and trick plays and things, and kickoff is a good chance to see some sort of reverse or throwback.
Looks like the felt marker got a little out of control.
There wasn't rain. Maybe they, it rained, or they washed their faces after they printed them up.
Hunter's not back there returning. In fact, since he took that wrong turn, at least in my mind, Cleat, I don't think we've seen him back there returning. Hicks from the 2. And gets up to maybe the 13. Darren Pointer tried to come up with a block, and Lewis Jones planted one on him.
Yeah, when you give Lewis Jones at 2 1/4 a 50-yard run at Darren Pointer, he's going to deliver a blow when he gets there.
And that's going to do it for the 4th quarter. So as they switch ends, it gets darker in Husky Stadium, but the Dogs lead it 23-3. Won't be that much longer. The bridge will be packed because everybody in here will be trying to go over there. As we begin the 4th quarter, I'm Don Poyer with Cleet Casper, Coach Don James, and Chuck Nelson about 3 booths down, as all 4 of us are here bringing you Apple Cup 93. For Washington State, they have 1st and 10 from their own 13-yard line. And 3 receivers left for DeGrenier, and he's going to go deep to Pointer. Great catch. Down he goes at the 40-yard line as he gets past Lamar Lyons and Reggie Reeser. What a catch by Pointer.
Great throw, great catch, but if I'm a Husky defender, what's the one thing I'm thinking as I'm standing there? Don't let anybody get behind me. That's Sandlot ball right there. Don't let anybody get behind you.
47 yards.
You're thinking it's going to be awful embarrassing if this ends up 24-23. Cougars just electing to air it out, hoping that Pointer, being the athlete he is, can corral one, and that's another reason that he's got all those 21 yards per catch as he goes deep well.
1st and 10 from the Husky 45. Huskies in a nickel defense, tries to lay it out. Going to 21, Shane De La Cruz, and Lamar Lyons defending, but too far.
Now this is one of the problems if you're going to run the pressure package and show 11 men up on line of scrimmage. Obviously they're mixing some zones in, but you still don't have that 8-yard cushion that a lot of defensive backs would like to have.
It was a great job by Pointer, too, of going to get it. At about 10 yards before that ball hit the ground, it didn't look like he was going to be able to make a play, but great job of turning on the afterburners.
Pointer, the senior out of Curtis High School in his last Apple Cup. On 2nd down, DeGrenier gets it down to the 34-yard line.
Cougars running an option? What is this?
It's been a while since we've seen that.
Is that Ricky Turner?
Lamar Lyons on the tackle with Springstead.
Just trying to find something in the running game that's kind of disappeared here for Washington State that will be effective against the pressure defense. And one of the things is you get those outside linebackers thinking, I'm crashing for the pass, and all of a sudden you change it up a little bit.
This is a big play. 3rd down and 4 from the 34-yard line. 3 receivers to the right side. There goes Jay Dumas to the left.
Carolyn underneath again.
Nobody there. Does the pressure come? It does. Tight end again. David Kilpatrick down to the 16-yard line and a 1st down.
And you asked the question, why can't I cover that guy going across the middle?
Jamal Fontaine is down on the play, and Brett Carolyn with a hitch in his get along as well. But again, how many times they run virtually the same formation? You're running the same defense, and they throw it to the same guy.
Carolyn's having a huge day today.
Jamal Fontaine still down on the play. You see Carolyn with 120 yards, and if your tight end's averaging 15 yards a catch, you're eating up some ground. Jamal feeling better.
He'll be fine. Last game of the year, you're not going to go out with an injury, if at all possible.
Brett Carolyn may move into the leading receiver spot for the Cougars after this game.
Let's see, he's got 48 now. 40 coming in.
Pointer had 45 coming in.
Reynolds had 46, so he's probably leapfrogging him today.
Right in there with Pointer.
That's a lot of receptions, too, considering the quarterback position has had so many problems.
1st and 10. All 3 receivers now go to the left side with a tight end on the right. Little bootleg action to Grenier, 10 to the end zone. Might have been batted by one of the Huskies.
David Kilpatrick fell off in coverage as De La Cruz comes all the way from the left side, and DeGrenier's looking at him all the way. Good job by Kilpatrick of getting the hand on the ball and of maintaining knowledge of where those guys are coming from.
David had to be thinking he's throwing it to me. Look where he is.
Oh, exactly.
It's right in line of fire.
Threw right at him.
Didn't fool anybody. Didn't exactly look off the defender there, did he? Just sending the Western Union.
Same formation. 3 receivers left. De La Cruz, Pointer.
Jamal Fontaine back in the game.
Keith Reynolds all the way to the outside. There's Fontaine. 2nd and 10. Ball on the 17. Here comes Pointer in motion. Hairston stays with him. Straight drop back this time. Trying to set up the screen. They do. Hicks, lot of room. Down to the 15. Slips to the 12-yard line. So what looked like was going to be a big gainer turns out to be about 5.
Greenlaw made a nice play to get off his block, and although he didn't stop it for a loss or anything, it did keep him from getting in the end zone, filling up in the lane.
Scott Greenlaw on the tackle.
I thought you guys were going to retire number 12.
Scott Greenlaw is a great young guy. Walk
sure
on
is.
and
Issaquah guy.
worked hard to get his speed down.
They're down at 4. They're all gone. Hicks to the left. Looking all the way to the tight end, and this one, oh, they're going to call it good.
Great catch by Brett Carolyn with the right hand, short of first down yardage.
I don't know how he caught that. My goodness. David Kilpatrick on him, and he comes up with the hand cradling it from the turf.
Well, although it's not a first down, it sure makes 4th down call here a little easier as he just gets the paw underneath it and cradles it in. That's you know, just another great example of what type of hands this kid has.
4th down, 1. Tight formation. Johnson should have the first. Stopped by Springstead.
Huskies got some inside penetration, but couldn't get any in the off-tackle hole. Again, you saw a look of one of the few times you'll see the Cougars in 2 backs.
That's their heavy jumble where they've got Donnie Sasa and Ray Hall in there, where they're just bringing in the biggest people they can, and that's a first down. So that's the one time down in the red zone that they've been able to convert.
So it'll be 1st and goal. Just beyond the 6-yard line. Cougars yet to score a touchdown today at 23-3. Lambeau's defense played pretty well, at least in scoring defense. All 3 receivers to the right. Across the middle. Might have been looking for Pointer, who slipped or was tripped.
It may have been a case where you're trying to pick somebody off and you end up with your own guy going down.
Yeah, could very well have been.
There were some crossing routes there, and with all that man coverage, you can get rubbed off. There comes a crash or blitz, both linebackers coming.
Big crowd.
2nd and goal from the 7.
Hairston did a good job of getting inside position early. Just got in the way, really, of the route.
And again, if you play a wide out and split out, you cannot let him in the middle here. They've worked by the hours for years on those moves, as the receivers have, to try and get inside.
Let's see if the Cougar offensive coordinators see that inside positioning and maybe think close corner.
Back to the corner.
Yep.
Should the
J.J. Stokes did that to them.
J.J. done it to just about everybody.
Should the Cougars score, they're going to need at least 2 more scores after that. 2nd and goal from the 7. Pointer in and out. Reeser defending.
Now, Reggie, why don't you do a dance and get a 15-yard penalty?
Coach, you're being a little too critical there. Good play by the young man.
Oh, Reggie's a good player.
He played it great, and actually throwing the lob with this wind is tough because you just can't judge it. You're just throwing a prayer, and that ball was 3 or 4 yards out of bounds.
And the wind is really starting to blow. You're starting to see towels flapping, balloons, newspapers.
We're feeling it up here for the first time, too.
Cougs are spread it out again. I'm sure Dumas will go in motion.
3rd and goal from the 7. Carolyn's on the left side along with Dumas. Looking left, down he goes. Oh my goodness, what a heartbreaker. So it will be 4th down now. All we need is an altercation. Throw a flag and move it half the distance to the goal.
Right there, Jamal Fontaine is drawn a little bit with Michael Bailey. They break up, and then DeMarco Farr comes in to help out his buddy, and then the flag is thrown.
So the flag does go down.
Not a smart play by DeMarco Farr, coming in late, throwing a shoulder at Michael Bailey.
Well, Coach, since you know the rules, is that a first down? Or is it just half the distance?
No, that's first down.
Tough break right there. See right there, Michael Bailey and Jamal are tied up a little bit. If we can have enough tape here, we'll keep running.
The penalty is later
then. The penalty has not yet been called. DeMarco Farr came in and threw a shoulder at Michael Bailey, and holy smokes, that's huge.
Well, the referees, man, they are not about to even show the slightest amount of losing control of this game.
Well, there are ways to control a game without throwing flags. They need to go in right there, basically, and say, hey, fellas, knock it off. We don't need that anymore.
You saw the timeout called there on your screen.
But to have that big an effect on the potential outcome of a game is not good officiating.
It would be nice if the players could play the game.
Yeah. They've been unable to show much of emotion or anything else today, either team, and we'll be back with the final 11:01 to play.
Washington State, as they've called this timeout, it looks like they've changed their mind about 4 or 5 different times, putting in different people, and right now they've got what they call their regular offense. You'd suspect that they might want to do the heavy jumbo, but they've got Carolyn and the wide receivers in there along with Kevin Hicks at the running back spot, and see if they try to continue to throw the ball in the end zone like they did in the 3 previous plays.
Well, I can remember 1975-76. John Hopkins tried to throw a little thing into the end zone, and the Huskies intercepted and ran for a touchdown. Here the results not nearly as catastrophic, as DeGrenier kept to the left side, but short gain.
Chad didn't look like he really was sold on that call.
No.
He says, we called timeout, and that's the best we could come up with?
Yeah.
Well, this is one thing when you had to play against Jim Walden, when he was over there, you had all those formations, and you always had to defend against the option, and it drove defensive coordinators crazy, I tell you.
Look at this.
To get a game plan, it's difficult to always have to defend the option.
Now, we used to have 44 formations and 3 plays.
2nd and goal from the 5. Pretty balanced for the receivers, split wide. Not going to make it is Hicks. Nice call, though.
Really blocked well at the point of attack.
Andy Mason in there, along with Springstead, 49.
And here comes the heavy jumbo right here on
Here they come.
3rd and goal at the 1-yard line. Sasa, Ray Hall, defensive linemen, big bodies that can get off the ball quickly and get some momentum going. All you got to do is, you don't have to create a hole. All you got to do is knock them back about 3 feet.
Ray Hall's the eligible receiver for what it's worth on the left side. They're going to run it all the way. Hicks. No sign by the referee on this side. It is not a touchdown.
Good second effort by Hicks, but not quite enough. And this Husky defense has now stopped 7 plays from the 7-yard line in. Right here, the straight dive left. Springstead comes over the top, and Kilpatrick from the outside. Ink Aliaga makes another great play, and then Hicks, or Haskell, excuse me, can't get away.
Ink Aliaga is key.
4th down.
Same play. It is. Same play, same side. No way.
No call.
The officials can't even see where the ball is. Right in the middle of that pile. You don't think they're going to push it and shove it in there yet. Officials have spotted the ball apparently on the...
Didn't get it.
The Cougars with 8 plays on from 1st and goal at the 7. Unable to get the ball in the Husky end zone. A great goal line stand by the Husky defense.
DeMarco Farr's probably real happy that they stopped that one too.
Kilpatrick comes over the top. DeMarco Farr creates the pile from the bottom, and you see virtually 11 purple shirts in that pile. Fontaine over the top as well.
Kilpatrick was the one that came over the top and really got underneath the feet. He did the dive and got to the...
Look at this.
But we'll never know whether it was a touchdown.
That's right.
I don't know what happened in the middle. You got some motion on the Husky offense here.
Yeah,
half the distance to the goal. Boy, that's a big penalty. They move that thing back an eyelash because that ball is on the goal like that as it is. You might as well take the chance of getting a good start because it's not going to cost you any yardage.
Well, the call here is quarterback sneak. I think that's the only play that you can be assured you won't get a safety. And I guess if from the Cougar standpoint, you're hoping for the safety and get the ball back.
I know, I'd roll out.
Well, a little bit later, you might even consider safety. Just get out of here.
Yeah.
He's going to start back here in the alumni band.
1st and 10 for what it's worth.
Got to do it.
Nice job. Nice slice to the left by Ewart. That's when you're real happy to have a quarterback who's 220 pounds.
Well, you're happy to have a senior center as well. You make sure you get the snap back okay.
Extra whistle for the referee here.
No flag, though.
Yeah.
But all those running plays and these running plays are just making it more difficult for the Cougars to get time enough to get all the scores they need to win.
I'd almost consider start calling timeouts here so that at least you can get the ball back. He's a good look at the center for the Huskies. He's
Rocco.
Jim won an $18,000 scholarship from the National Hall of Fame Foundation.
That's the point we needed to get across. He's really got quite an award. 2nd and 9. Matt Jones gets a little more room.
You know, I consider calling timeout here. That you might get the ball back and at least preserve a little time.
Yeah, the clock now under 8 minutes.
Yeah, as it is, it's just going to tick down, and the Huskies will take their time.
You may see the Huskies on the punt consider taking, assuming there is going to be a punt, consider taking the safety. 23-5 after a 2-point safety would be the margin. 18 points is still 3 scores with 6.5 minutes to go by that time. Now 7.5 minutes.
The big thing you don't want to give up is a 7. You know, that's why a safety is not a real bad thought.
3rd down and 8.
Oh my.
Pitch. Ho-ho! Wow. Kaufman got maybe 1 yard. Are you still breathing, Coach?
We've talked all year about some of the things that might be a little different in the Jim Lambright era.
That call would have come down and said, Jeff, let's get another call.
Dial again,
the
Jeff.
blood finally starting to come back to the face of Don James.
Well, I'd rather see a play action pass than see an option, to tell you the truth.
I'm still looking for my rollout that never did happen.
Well, that was kind of a rollout.
Yeah.
It was a rollout of the offensive coordinator.
Problem is, I'm the punter, and all of a sudden I'm seeing that play thinking, great.
Cougs hoping the wind will help them get good field position here anyway.
It's tight punt formation.
Letting the clock run down.
Dumas waiting on a high spiral, fair catch called, and a good catch at the 29-yard line. Wardell just got it up too high. I know you want hang time, but not into the wind when you're in your own end zone.
That's a situation, too, where if you give up 2 points, you might gain 40 yards and a minute or 2 in clock time.
Got to kick it low.
Matt Jones was still talking to his offensive lineman when that ball was snapped. And actually, the Cougs, I think that's Jensen coming pretty close to getting a hand on that.
Right, it was at the 25-second clock was at 9. I think they wanted to run it down to 2 or 3.
Matt Jones was actually turned around looking at John Wardell when the ball was snapped. He was watching the 25-second clock back behind him.
On 1st down, DeGrenier rolling out, getting a little time. Huskies trying to close in. Nice job of getting away. And finally, Jamal Fontaine brings the roof down on DeGrenier, but not until he gets it thrown incomplete.
They run the sprint out. They run away from 3 Husky rushers. I mean, there's just no one over there to put pressure on them.
Reggie Reeser does a nice job of not sucking up on the out fake. There's the pump, and he's just sitting back waiting for the out and up, and nothing there. And get that one.
Good job of
just get rid of it.
Hitting the open teammate on the sideline.
He's had pretty good assignments here with Morton from USC and Pointer. Done a great job. He actually shut out Morton last week, I thought.
He did a good job with Morton.
2nd down and 10 with all trips to the left side. My goodness, now they even put the running back over there, Hicks.
Quads left.
Look out. DeMarco Farr is one of them, and I think Andy Mason the other. Couple of seniors trying to go out big.
Well, Scott Greenlaw was faking a strong safety crash at the bottom, and that's why the Cougars moved the tailback up for more protection.
See, DeMarco Farr starts up the outside and then comes underneath Paul Reed. Paul Reed's got to go get the hammer out, pull the nails out of his shoes right there. DeMarco Farr stands up. The official comes over and gives DeMarco Farr a talking to for signaling after the sack.
The only thing that's going to stop DeMarco is a snowstorm like last year.
They're down and 16.
This time Greenlaw comes on the blitz.
Look out. Keith Reynolds, the intended receiver, who is overthrown and covered by Reggie Reeser.
Keith has been quiet today. I don't believe he has a reception, does he?
Done a very good job of shutting down the wide receivers in general. Pointer with only a couple. Reynolds with the zip.
And they'd like to leave Caroline in for protection, but they can't because he's the #1 receiver.
Coach, that time, I want to bring it up. I just noticed on the replay when Carolyn came across, Ink Aliaga was all over him like white on rice.
Is that right? First time.
He was with him the second he came across. Crossed his face, he knew where to go. 4th down, Cougs going for it. Why not with 5.5 minutes to go? They are 4th and 16. They need to get down to the 19-yard line. Ball's on the 35. It's away, steps up, Jamal Fontaine, now what?
Whistles have blown, there was no play.
Okay, flag was thrown. So no play whatsoever?
Got to be against the offense for
movement.
False start.
Flag came from the field judge way back in
I'm
the 20-yard line on the sideline.
Did you think we might see some shotgun today?
I was thinking that, you know, you got a quarterback that, here's the call.
Delay the game, offense, 5 yards.
I was thinking with a young quarterback who, you know, might not be real comfortable up underneath the center, that to give him a little more better vision. But Coach Price said that, you know, it takes just as long to find that snap and then look up and find your receivers, that he did better coming up out of center.
Now it is 4th and 21 as Hicks goes to the right. DeMarco Farr wraps him up. The senior with a few more licks as he ends his career in the purple and gold.
Paul Reed, the senior for Washington State, having a tough time here in the 4th quarter with DeMarco Farr.
That is sack number 5 for the Huskies today.
Right there on the left side of your screen, right there. He just, once again, doesn't even move his feet until DeMarco's behind him.
I got a question why that McCloskey isn't helping out over there, and they're double teaming Highfield instead of DeMarco Farr. Josh Dunning was sitting there with nobody to block. I'd rather have Josh working on Highfield and those two guys on DeMarco, but
and that's,
little late
that's a line
day.
slide that the coaches may have had in. Maybe the center just didn't get it on.
Yep. 1st and 10 now for the Huskies on the 46. Kaufman, maybe for a couple. Let's get an account for Kaufman so far. We'll keep it up here to see how close he is to that record with Greg Lewis.
You were pretty concerned about that quarter bet.
I'd say he's done it.
20 yards beyond Greg Lewis right now. That puts him at 182 for the ball game, if my math is correct.
What if he goes backwards?
That's right. That's right. We saw that at Oregon State. Well, that's a lofty record to break, young man. Greg Lewis was about one of the finest guys I ever saw put on a Husky uniform.
Or he could pick holes, find things.
I love to watch that man carry the football. 2nd down and 9. This man's no slouch either. Almost breaks it as he is brought down by Chad Eaton along with John Rushing. Napoleon Kaufman for the 1st down.
John Rushing down once again. Remember, he got hurt earlier in the ball game and has come back to play very well.
This is incredible. A Cougar player went over and pushed the Husky doctor out of the way.
The doctor?
And they were trying to help, you know, the injured Cougar.
That makes complete sense to me,
yeah,
Coach.
on that side of the field, I just
don't have none of your guys touching our guys.
Not on that side. Over here, it's okay.
We talked in our open about how the Huskies would need to run the ball against a very good rushing defense. 266 yards on the ground for Washington. That's over 200 yards over the Cougars' average.
Steve Morton and The offensive line has got to feel great after that.
Well, if you want to win big games, you still have to be able to run the football.
Yeah.
You know? And it's obvious we're not a good enough passing team that we can win a lot of games with the pass. And this is, you know, these were the expectations just about all year. Is this John rushing again?
Right. Mark Smaha, the head trainer, helping him off, the man on the far side. He's one of the best trainers around the country, too. Highly respected.
10 minutes left in the game. West Virginia 17, Miami 14.
Miami is trailing as well today. Boy, what a day in college football. Here again is the play. And watch Matt Jones, too. 22.
Napoleon picks his spots, ends up out there behind his fullback. Matt Jones throws a block downfield. Here you see rushing, delivers the blow with the left shoulder.
You see Matt, though? Matt just planted the guy.
Well, I'm really going to miss Napoleon after he goes pro.
Well, last year over in Pullman, Cleat, you and I had a fourth quarter discussion as to what Drew Bledsoe's future may hold.
That wasn't too tough because of the prospects he had as a quarterback. One of the things I think Napoleon has got to look at is what are the other running backs in college this year and what is going to be my position. It's a tough call for a young man.
1st and 10 for Washington. Leif Johnson now at fullback, along with Leon Neal. Damon Heward is the quarterback as our buddy Leif carries for about 8 yards on 1st and 10.
Coach, is this a case of getting the seniors a chance to play a little bit here and carry the ball and do some fun things as they got about 4 minutes to go in their college football careers?
I would never let our guys talk about substitution during the week, but once the game, in your opinion, is over by scoring time, now you can talk all you want. Let's start rewarding players, get some young guys, some old guys, get maybe a walk-on that has been there 4 or 5 years, hadn't played.
181 yards, 27 carries.
Look at that. Average 6.7. 2nd down and 3 after the run by Leif.
David Heward working that game clock, play clock.
3-2. Leif again. Let's see if he can get the first. Nope.
Leif Johnson
As he's hauled down. Looks like Brian Ford, one of the first there. Yes, number 69. The senior out of Sacramento. Reeled into high school. Know that area well. A lot of good football players. As Leif finishes up his career. Announcements now being made about Napoleon Kaufman setting a new single-season rushing record.
Have an injury on the field. One of the offensive linemen, can you pick that up?
It's Ernie Conwell, sophomore tight end. They're looking down around the knees.
Let's take a timeout. 3:05 to go, and they'll take care of Ernie Conwell.
Husky fans, following the conclusion of today's game,
the crowd during that break broke into a chant of one more year. One more year.
Huskies now are about 2 minutes and 58 seconds away from being done with the first half of Pac-10 sanctions and probationary period.
Halfway through their sentence.
If I'm a player, I'm feeling pretty good, though, hearing the crowd say that. One more year.
Clayton,
Get it over with.
I was going to ask you, Clayton, how about the Cougars track and baseball?
Oh,
Basketball would be awesome.
3rd and 3, Leon Neal gets the first down.
I noticed how you left basketball out of that equation there.
We got another injury.
Another
on the
injury.
field.
That's a Husky, and it might be Kessie, number 70.
Well, you hate to see anybody get hurt any time, but boy,
Not now, especially now.
This close to being out of the season and into your off season, especially Pat Kessie, who will come back with a good chance to start at one of the guard or tackle positions.
Well, you got Kessie coming back, you got Garcia coming back, and Peterson. After that, you got a whole lot of seniors as far as starters.
Donald Willis will have to jump up.
Yep.
Eric Battle.
Yep.
Bob Sapp, a recently converted defensive lineman, has moved up in the third team offensive lineman position.
And this man will be a very important factor in that offensive chemistry next year.
You see that.
What a schedule, too. I mean, you open up at USC, Ohio State comes to town, go to Miami.
Then UCLA. This is a little bit more optimism heading into 4 of the toughest games consecutively that this Husky program has ever faced. Good thing he didn't pull a calf muscle. You hurt one of those things, you're out for a year and a half.
That's major surgery.
A family of 10 could live on one of those.
That's a big hammock there.
See lots of seniors there in the ball game, new faces. Terry Redmond, Cam Kissel.
Well, on the Cougar side, looking forward to next year, you've got a defense that does lose McClanahan and Hall, Brian Ford, but they're looking forward to a lot of guys coming back and playing better than they did today.
Leon Neal on 1st and 10, and he's stacked up pretty well right at the line of scrimmage as the clock continues to wind on down. Ron Childs, one of the first in there. Leon played quite a bit, remember, back in the first game of the year against Stanford because Bino had to sit out that one game.
Second down, 9 yards to go for the Huskies.
Ted Stark is now coming in at quarterback as Damon Ewart, and what a confidence builder for Damon to spend the winter now playing in this game today. That's got to help him prepare for his junior year. And Ted now, the redshirt freshman out of Medford, in at quarterback. And the toss sweep to Leon Neal again, and little if any gain.
Leon Neal, the ball carrier.
Ron Childs again involved in the tackle.
David Reiner in there at center as well, the senior.
Gain of 3.
A lot of time long snapping, now getting a chance to snap it a little bit shorter.
Don, where do you see Ted Stark fitting in the mix maybe next year, a year older? Is he still going to always be regarded as a 3-deep kind of quarterback, or
Well,
what?
this spring the competition with Ted will be the 2 freshmen that recruited this year, Fortney and Smith.
Right.
And then, you know, there's going to be a continual controversy with the quarterbacks because there's 2 back that have played, and but they both have to get better, and they will.
That's why I was wondering if Stark had a great spring. You never know. He could be someone in there to add to the mix. 3rd down and 6. Leif Johnson, and not much there. So it'll be 4th down with less than a minute. We're down to 44 seconds left. Vince Saldivar with the tackle on a 1-yard gain. So it looks like for the last 11 and 12, it'll be now 7-5 Huskies.
Field goal team coming onto the field. Wait and see. The officials have not yet spotted the ball. As you see Jim Lambright.
Congratulations to Jim, becoming now the first rookie head coach to win 7 in a season. That's something. Don James winning 6 in his first game. Hanson attempting the field goal, 34 yards, and it is good. Big day for Travis Hanson.
Game is over on that field goal. 26-3. 3 field goals in a game for Travis Hanson. Hasn't done that in a couple of years.
He had 4 field goals.
Oh, 4, excuse me.
34-yarder, and that makes it 26-3 as Mike Price now 1-4 against the Washington Huskies, and Steve Springstead shaking hands with the coach. And Jim Lambright is now 1-0 against his fellow Snohomish County, fellow Everett City compatriot, what shall I say? Fellow native of Everett, thank you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Both graduates of Everett High School, coaching the 2 universities in the state.
Well, the next season is on now, the recruiting season, and that'll really be important for both of these teams. A lot of good football players leaving both programs, and with the schedules that both teams play, there'll be exciting off seasons.
Congratulations again to Travis Hanson. Nice day to end his career as a Husky with 4 field goals of 26, 28, 42, 34. And again, congrats to Napoleon Kaufman. A huge monster day, 181 yards, setting a new single season record. Final comments in just a moment.